peanuts, man.
Hey, you got peanuts dope, man.
Okay, we started. Shalom, everybody. Everybody, guys. We're hot now. Shalom, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good this Monday. I know a lot of times on Mondays we have to like shake the cobwebs off and get your mind ready to get back into the book, get right back in the system of your day. So hope everybody's Monday was going well so far. Yeah. And shalom to everybody out in ISBHPK Houston, ISBHPK Rochester, ISBHPK Virginia. Once again, shalom to everybody.
Shalom,
hope everybody's doing well. Shalom, Shield of Wisdom. I think this is Halak. If not, whoever's with Shield of Wisdom, shalom. Hope everybody's doing well. Once again, countdown, April 4th. We're going to have our Passover. It's going to be a great time with each other to fellowship and bond and stay connected, or just reestablish friendships and build new ones. So, anyway, today's topic that we're going to go into deals with, for those battling suicidal thoughts. And amongst Israel, there's so much, I guess, machismo and strength and ultra masculinity, and I don't think we talk about topics like this enough, because dealing with mental health issues, happiness, outlook, peace of mind, stability is a common theme. It's more common than what you think. It's more common that our people struggle with ups and downs and highs and lows, and these extreme peaks and valleys in life. And a lot of times when we're going on this emotional roller coaster, there's strong urges to harm yourself. There's strong urges to remove yourself from whatever situation that you're going through. And first of all, for anybody going through that, understand that nobody is above it. More times than not, we've all felt down, we've all felt beaten and broken. So this class is just to make sure we kind of bring some light to understanding how to get a grip on your psyche, how to get a grip on your peace of mind and your clarity when you're down and when you're low. Because when you're low, whatever you got to do, you got to find a way to kind of get back level again. And how to get level, how to stay level is one of the challenging pursuits that whether we're talking about the nation of Israel, any nation has to deal with. But we're here to sit back here and help and uplift our people. So we're going to focus on how we can scripturally stay connected and how we can reattach ourselves back to the Heavenly Father before it's too late, before we do something that we regret, or something that we do that we can't fix, or it's permanent. So the first verse I want to go to. What's that? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm good. It's material. First verse I want to go to is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 13. Exodus 20 and verse 13.
Exodus 20 and 13?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Exodus 20.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 13 to kind of get us started. Because like I said, this issue, this battle is not just on one and every small amount type of situation. Most of us get low. Most of us have highs and lows. And for a lot of us, it's hard to get ourselves out of that low state, of that down state, or that broken state. And just today, I hope that in the process of us going into this class, it gives some of us the strength to continue moving forward, gives some of us the strength to continue to persevere through whatever they're going through, because it's very important that we soundboard and that we communicate and we get as much strategy necessary to get us through our issues. Okay? Yeah. So let's get this verse, Exodus chapter 20 and verse 13.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 13 reads, "Thou shalt not kill."
So this is a very simple point, and I'm not going to drive on the point that it's against the law of the Most High to commit suicide. But I think we have to start off with that point. It says, thou shalt not kill. But we understand that when you're breaking down kill, we killed all the time in war. Mm-hmm. We killed the nations. We killed in war nations to establish our land in Canaan. We fought to preserve and save our families from destruction and death. So killing is not against the law, but murder is against the law. Okay? Now, as you go into the definitions of murder, the definition that I want to focus on for this class is this one. To destroy, to put an end to. Because to murder means to destroy or put it into. Whether I'm putting it into another person's life or I'm putting it into my own life. If I'm destroying another person's life unjustifiably or I'm putting it into my life, it's still against the laws of the Heavenly Father. Okay? But I'm not going to sit back here and make this class about you're wicked if you want to commit suicide. Now that's redundant. Now I'm sitting back here and beating the spirit that's already down.
That's common.
Exactly. Common. And that, but see, once again, it's important that we even bring that up because a lot of times when a person is down, we want to take that posture of attacking, not realizing that a person is really struggling with teetering on the idea of doing something very rash because they feel down already. So we have to be very sensitive
for teachers,
to situations like this. So as a teacher, as a counselor, if you're married to a sister that battles this situation, if you're a brother and you have a son or a daughter who battles these situations, or if you are a wife and you have a husband who battles these situations, you have to handle these extremes and scenarios with sensitivity, with counsel, and with clarity. Okay? Because I have seen individuals, I'm not going to name stories and names, but I've been in situations where I've seen brothers who don't have a lot of understanding in the scriptures counsel people the wrong way, and they've gone ahead and committed suicide. That happened years ago, back in those quote-unquote bravado days, ego days, and it was just about ego, image.
And being hard,
being hard, being uber strong, and not listening properly, not being sensitive to what people are really going through. So we're going to go into now, once we got past the obvious scripture about how it is against the law to harm yourself, it's against the law to destroy or put an end to yourself or anybody around you that's not the nations or your enemies that are trying to hurt you or harm you.
H7523, kill, is rasa. Rasa is to dash in pieces. Mm-hmm. It says especially to murder, to put to death, kill, slay, slayer. Mm-hmm. So it's saying it's kill with the idea of murder. Mm-hmm. That's the idea.
So whether it's a person, or something? Well, it's premeditation, yes, but the idea that I want to take somebody out because they're a threat to me, or I have hatred, whatever my motivations are, my unjust motivations. What it's showing you is I don't have a justification to end my life. I don't have a justification to sit back here in anybody's life, unless we're in matters of war. The most said, thou shalt not kill or murder. So we have to make sure that we keep things in perspective before we even go further. And I think everybody knows that it's wrong, but what I want to focus on today is how to eliminate. Let's not get to that point where I'm about to make an extreme decision. How can I catch these suicidal thoughts before they become damaging? Because we all teeter with strength and weakness. We all teeter with positive and negative. So this is not something that's foreign to anybody. But for some of us, the depths of us indulging positive thoughts or indulging negative thoughts,
extreme thinking,
they get more extreme. So for the person who has these extreme pendulum swings of happiness and sadness and anger and hatred and love and hate and all this myriad of emotions that kick through you, we want to go into Ecclesiastes chapter 14. We're going to go through the entire chapter. Hopefully we can get through it all today. And we take our time to explain how we can start controlling and fighting these thoughts that dominate us so frequently. Like I said, this class might not be for everybody today, but that doesn't mean that we can't learn from it, or we might not know somebody who's going through it
And battling it, yeah.
and battling it. So let's do this. Ecclesiasticus chapter 14 in the Apocrypha, verse 1.
Ecclesiastes 14. Blessed is the man that have not slipped with the mouth, and is not pricked with the multitude of sins.
So it says, the individual that has not slipped with his mouth and has not been pricked with the multitude of sins. I remember we talked about a few weeks ago, it was in Ecclesiastes in the Bible, 12 and 11, that the words of the Most High are like golds, right? And golds are these are like these prodding instruments that get the maximum out of the animals that you're working with. And those golds prick, they cut, they inspire to get off your butt and do more, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what a gold does. Now, he says you're blessed if you're not pricked with the multitude of sins. You know, some of us might not have sat back here and made a whole lot of mistakes in Christ. And for those of us who haven't fallen a lot, congratulations. But for 98% of Israel, we fall quite often. And this is what the verse is saying. He says, man, listen. He says, for the person, if you haven't slipped a lot, you haven't been pricked by the multitude of failures, good for you. Now we're going to read the real people in America that try to serve the Most High in verse 2. Because verse 1 deals with the exception. The exception of the individuals that learn quickly, they don't fall multiple times.
I've never felt these things. Why?
Or you don't.
I've never. Why would a person think like
you
this?
don't understand what it means for the Most High to smash you and bring you low.
Come.
And truly humble you consistent times.
Come.
Some brothers and sisters have not felt it that much yet. I'm going to say yet.
Yeah.
Because for those of us who haven't felt it, we'll feel it. So he says, blessed if you haven't felt it. Now we're going to go to verse 2 to kind of go into what most people battle with. You know, the ones who actually do make mistakes and the ones who actually do deal with issues and have issues overcoming their mental health or their mindset or their actions, their conduct towards the Most High. Read verse 2.
Ecclesiastes 14, verse 2. Blessed is he whose conscience has not condemned him.
So we're going to sit back here. I know it says, blessed is the person whose conscience has not condemned him. Because a lot of our people's conscience has condemned them. A lot of our people beat ourselves up for the constant failures, the constant mistakes, constantly falling short. I know for all of us, if you've had a habit of just not getting over the hump and not overcoming the things inside of you, it can be debilitating. It can wear you down. It can break your confidence. It can break your spirit. It can make you start hating yourself. That's why he's saying, this is why the Most High always pushes us when you read in 2 Corinthians 8 and 2 Corinthians 9 how it says we're supposed to be forward a year ago. He's teaching us that we should be ahead of the curve, ahead of our growth, ahead of our lessons, so we don't have to live life in this truth so difficult. But unfortunately, a lot of us have to learn the hard way. A lot of us have to fall. A lot of us have to make mistakes. A lot of us have to make many mistakes. And in the process of making many mistakes, you're losing years, you're losing 5, 6, 7 years. It feels like you're like in quicksand. Matter of fact, I wasn't going to do it this way, but let's go to Lamentations chapter 3. Because Lamentations chapter 3, before we go into this, Lamentations 3 kind of explains
Sets it up.
the human condition. Lamentations, we're going to go back to Ecclesiastes 14 very soon.
Chapter 3, top from top.
From the top. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 1 down. And we're going to, when it hits me, we'll sit back here and go back to the topic. But I kind of need to, I guess, explain how it feels to make mistakes, to be that person who is constantly just hasn't figured it out yet. So, we're going to Lamentations chapter 3, verse 1 down. We're going to make sure everybody gets it. Lamentations 3, verse 1 down.
All right.
Lamentations chapter 3 and verse 1. I am the man that hath seen affliction.
Right there. That's a major point.
I mean, it's going to tell you.
I am the man.
I'm the guy who's been screwing up.
Look, this is not
This guy.
This is not pointing other people out. Like, that's the man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the man. That person on news is the man.
Yep.
He's taking full, really
Ownership.
Ownership.
Yep.
I'm the man that's.
You got to let it flow, man. You got to let this flow a little
This
bit. I'm not going to
powerful.
lie to you. Lamentations 3:1 down. He's going to tell you, man, what the damn deal is.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Read that.
Lamentations.
I want you to keep talking, but I'm
Yeah,
just
I'll
going to
let
let
you
you go. Read that.
Lamentations chapter 3 and verse 1. I am the man that had seen affliction by the rod of his wrath.
I've been the one that has experienced the Most High spanking my ass. I've lived it. I've been there, done that, and bought a T-shirt. I have witnessed the Most High correcting me, chastising me, and I'm falling on my face because of my conduct. I know how it feels to fall. I know how it feels to fall short of the Most High's expectations. And this is what Jeremiah is saying. He understands what it was. Read on.
He had led me and brought me into darkness, but not into light.
Listen, I've been there to where I've been into dark places. The Most High has led me to dark places because of my what? Of my conduct, my thinking, my choices, my decisions.
Yeah.
My decisions is not the Most High brought you to darkness. My decisions led me to dark places. You know, Isaiah chapter 59 says, my iniquities shall separate me from the Heavenly Father. So my iniquities lead me to dark places. My mistakes, my flaws lead me to these dark places. Read on.
Surely against me is he turned.
So how does it feel when you fall and you feel that you've hit rock bottom and the Most High is not there with you?
God.
He says, surely against me he's turned. For those of us who even battle these depressing thoughts, these thoughts that push you to want to quit, give up, make rash decisions, how does your mind start to break down before you even want to take those extreme moves and those extreme measures?
How did I get here?
How did I get here? These are the scenarios that lead you down that path. When you keep talking, I want you to bring some things out. I just want to make sure I'm painting this out clearly.
That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Psalms 139 verse 8.
Yeah.
It's talking about when you said those dark places.
Yes.
Most High didn't put you there, but He's there with you. And the scripture shows that.
Okay, read that.
Psalms 139 verse 8.
Psalms 139 verse 8. If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there.
If I ascend up into heaven, I'm a good place in my spirit.
Yep.
Most High is there.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there.
If I'm in hell,
In
which
that
is a
dark
low,
place.
I'm in that dark place, that low condition, the Most High is also there.
Yep.
He's in both positions.
And he's in both places. And listen, he's not ever going to acquit the guilty, but he's not giving up on it. And this is what Jeremiah is explaining. He knows how it feels to feel like you've been forgotten about.
Yeah.
He knows how it feels to where a man or woman feels that the Most High has turned his back on.
Okay.
He says, surely against me is he turned. When nothing that you're doing is going right, every decision you make blows up in your face, and the first thing that pops in your head is, man, the Most High is not with me. Nothing I do is good enough. Nothing I do is accepted. He's turned his back on me. Read on.
He turneth his hand against me all the day.
There's nothing I can do where the Most High doesn't let up on me. And this is what happens when we have to feel the judgment that he sets forth for all of us to deal with. Read on.
My flesh and my skin hath he made old.
How does the Most High make flesh and skin old? I'm tired. I'm not getting no sleep. There's no peace of mind. I feel worn down. I'm getting bags under my eyes. I'm always crying. I'm sitting back here drinking myself to sleep. The more you drink, the more your body feels like crap.
I'm wearing myself
Because
down.
you sit back here and you're trying to escape the sadness. You're trying to escape the feeling low, that feeling down.
Mm-hmm.
And the more things you do to kind of remedy your sadness, the more you just wear down. This is what I'm going to say most of Israel has experienced. When nothing that you know, listen, you know when the Most High is with you and you know when he's not. You can feel it. For those of us who've served the Most High long enough, you know that when you're doing something the wrong way, he's just not going to accept it. But let's keep going.
He hath broken my bones.
Mm-hmm. Listen. How many of us have been broken, man? Truly broken. To where we're powerless. And we feel powerless. Read on.
He had builded against me.
And building against me means the Most High, no matter what I'm doing, there's always some adverse situation to counteract what I'm trying to have. I want this, and no matter what I do, or how hard I pursue, how hard I try, what I do in myself, what I yield, I might even throw a prayer up. But ain't the end result is the Most High is not giving you what you desire.
Mm-hmm.
A person feels these
things. And it kind of links in with James 4 where he says you fight and you kill to have.
Yeah, that's true.
But then he doesn't give you what you want. He's building counter responses to everything you try to do your way. But this is us when we're down. We feel like the Most High is not listening. We try to sit back and take matters into our own hands. Try to find our own happiness, our own peace of mind. We'll do things our way. Whenever we do things our way to find our happiness and get ourselves up out of our rut or predicament. A lot of times if I'm down, I feel the Most High is not with me, what do? I'll go to the club. I'll sit back here. If I'm a woman, I'm going to date a man. I'm going to go to the club and just do some reckless stuff. If I'm a brother, I'm going to go do some reckless stuff out so I can feel better about myself. I'm going to do drugs.
We look for
I'm a smoke.
We look for an escape.
And every time I look for an escape and I pursue an escape, the Most High establishes roadblocks for me.
And that reality gets harder.
Exactly.
When you come back from your escape, the reality is harder to deal with than it was in the beginning.
Exactly. He says he buildeth every direction I try to go that's not back to pleasing him, he's building walls against me. He's not allowing me to pass. He's not allowing me to get through this suffering.
Can I make this point?
Yes.
And a lot of times people don't have the words to really explain how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
So we have it's how you been, huh? What's been going with you? But there's no real words to it.
There's no real words.
The scripture says the Most High, he hears groanings that cannot be uttered.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain things people are dealing with that they can't really verbalize.
Yep. But this is what Jeremiah is saying. He's experienced it. Listen, now he's hitting it right in the head where all of us have felt this before. That lowness. Mm-hmm. I'm down. I feel like crap, like dirt.
It's not getting any better.
It's not getting any better. I try all these different methods to feel better about myself. I do all these methods to sit back here and feel better about my situation. And what ends up happening, I go through all these moves and scenarios, and I'm still not happy. I'm still not getting the gratification that I tell myself I need. Or want to feel better. We sit back and pursue carnal endeavors because we think tapping into these carnal endeavors will make us feel better, make us feel whole and complete inside. And every time we choose these carnal pursuits, the Most High lays roadblocks for us.
You might want to break that James 4:1 down, bro.
We might as well. Let's go and do it. Because we're going back to Lamentations. So somebody give me James 4. Listen, I have a lot of information, bro, to get to today. James 4. James 4:1. Let me see, just make sure. Let's see. James 4:1.
Ready?
Nope. James chapter 4. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Moving on slow. We're trying to pull scriptures. James 4:1.
James chapter 4 verse 1 read.
Yep.
From whence come wars and fightings among you?
Listen, the question is, where do these wars and these inward battles come from? These inward battles is that individual, sister or brother, who's feeling low, who the Most High is not blessing, and you feel the Most High has turned his back on you. You're damn down in the dust. So what you try to do is find carnal solutions to make you establish a temporary peace and comfort in your life. And this is where the wars start kicking in. The wars start kicking in. There is a right way to do everything.
I just want to feel good.
But
that's what it gets down to.
But the Most High says you're supposed to do things decently and in order. But in the process of us of not wanting to accept doing things decently and in order, we sit back here and do whatever we got to do to feel good. And then now it's name your vice. Is it alcohol? Is it sex? Is it drugs? Is it stronger drugs? Is it weed?
Is it going off on people?
What is your vice? Is it beating people up and being overly physical? Is violence your solution? Violence is a vent.
Yeah.
Violence is a vent. Alcoholism is a vent.
Blowing money.
Drug abuse is a vent. Blowing money. I gotta buy me a dress.
Hell with that.
What? You gotta buy me a dress and some shoes? I gotta get a makeup bag all the time when I'm feeling bad. I need a bag.
My man get rich off. They like, oh, I can't wait for you to be
That's what I'm saying. Or dudes be buying shoes. They's got nothing but shoes in their house, bro. For real?
Yeah.
Or the club, the strip club. What's your advice when you feel low? So where are these wars coming in? Those are the wars. The wars is the Most High wants me to stay in order and learn the lesson the right way. But I need a break. I need to feel good. Makes me feel good. What's it? I just want to feel good. She was out there doing some white boy, some raunchy ass white dude. She just want to feel good.
Yeah.
But that happens to us all the time.
Halle Berry.
But what was the old dude's that makes me feel good? Something.
Billy Bob Thornton.
But in the movie it was something makes me feel good. Bob. I don't know what the hell his name was. The point is, what are we getting to? I'm going to sit back here and in the pursuit of me not fighting my battles. The Most High's already not blessing me. He's already not looking after me.
I'm crashing,
but I still sit back here and I pursue fleshly pursuits to feel better. But when I do it, I feel even worse afterwards.
Exactly.
I feel even worse. I feel more condemned. I feel more depressed after I go pursue.
Yes,
Ladies, tonight's going to be ladies' night. I have to put all my troubles to the side. Ladies' night. So you can go be screwed up on and niggas rolling up on you and you get high and making mistakes in the world because you want to get away from your problems at home,
or get pilled,
or get violated.
Yeah.
But these are the decisions that we make when we just don't want to give in to doing things the Most High's way. But this is where the wars start. Read on.
From whence come wars and fightings among you?
And fightings among you, because I'm going to war with counselors. I'm going to war with my training. I'm going to war with what I know is right. I'm having 10 conversations in my head. I'm not agreeing with one of them. There's no agreement.
Like damn Smeagol. Like,
this is real.
Remember the Lord of the Rings, Smeagol was talking to him? Yeah. Yes, we need the ring. We got to kill him. But he's a good guy. Kill him. You need the ring. Well, he's good. Kill him. Kill him.
It's a lot of...
These are the battles we have in our head.
It's an overabundance of internal
I watch
conversation.
movies, I'm sorry, man. But the point is this.
Yeah.
That Smeagol thing, I've heard a person tell me that they felt like Smeagol before. I've literally heard that happen before. When I got two thoughts pushing in my head.
Strong thought.
Go left, no, do right. Go left, be honorable. What do you think happens in our heads every day? We're like this.
Yeah.
It's the truth. We give ourselves to those. That's the fighting. That's the infighting. And every time we choose wrong, our confidence gets lower and lower and lower. We get less confident in ourselves. We start condemning ourselves more and more and more. And you look up, you're in a really deep and dark place. Let's keep going.
Come they not hence, either of your lusts that war in your members?
The lust that you're warring inside of your members. Read on.
Ye lust and have not.
This is that challenge. The Most High wants you to walk that straight gate. Read about it in 2 Ezra 7. He wants to do things decently and in order, which means the hard way, the uncomfortable way, the disciplined way. But what do? We want to lust. We want to sit back and be free and have fun and do what our flesh wants. And that constant battle for feeling good and doing things the right way brings about that sadness.
And you know what? And it brings about sadness because I still, at the end of the process, do not have what I want.
I know.
Because no matter what I do to self-medicate, what do I do to cope, what do I do to escape, after all the smoke is gone,
Yep.
after the music cuts off, after the club
After
shuts
I
down,
dance with cats.
after all the dancing,
Yep.
after all the dance is done, after the internet is gone nuts,
Yep. Yeah.
I'm still alone in my stupor.
And I'm still unhappy.
I'm still happy.
But let's keep going, because I want to go back into my point. So let's keep going in James. Read on.
This is the comment we're trying to say is you're not alone.
Yes.
And this is
a common
you
battle.
are not alone
Yep.
in your issue.
This is a common battle that we all face. The only difference is how magnified the
How
highs
intense
and
you get,
lows
yeah.
are. How intense and how far I'm willing to go when I'm down or when I'm high. That is we all go through the same battles and issues and highs and lows and unhappiness and sadness and lack of acceptance.
Yeah.
It's really about a lack of acceptance of your condition, a lack of acceptance of what the Most High wants from you versus what you want.
And mixed with looking at why can't I have it? And there's a why.
And this is why I don't.
Come.
There's so much more to this.
Another time.
We're gonna let's read through this. Let's read through this in James.
Come.
Ye lust and have not. Ye kill and desire to have, and cannot obtain.
Cannot obtain. No matter how hard I try, it's never good enough.
Okay. Read on.
Ye fight and war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not. Ye
But I am
ask.
asking.
Everybody's
asking.
You're asking. You're pursuing. You're fighting. You want it.
I
want it.
I didn't
Give it
ask.
to me now.
Well, what do you mean I didn't ask? I asked and asked.
All the time.
I ask every day.
That's the truth.
Because you're talking about I didn't ask. What do you mean I didn't ask? I've been asking.
I've been asking every day.
God.
I pray like this, please, Father.
Lord, do you hear
Oh,
me?
my hands are crossed really tightly.
I did good. I'm trying.
Come. Continue, man.
Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss.
You're not asking for the right things. That's the problem. We're not asking for the right things. And because we're not getting what we want, there's a disconnect. Read on.
That ye may consume it upon your lust.
Exactly. So when it really boils down to it, a portion of the extremes we go through is based upon the fact that we want something that we can't get, and what we want is about satisfying our flesh and our lust. So listen, I'm going to let that go. I don't want to do more of that because I got to get back to the point. Let's get back to Lamentations because it really goes back into explaining the conditions of a person who's broken, who's detached, who is unhappy, who has a void in their heart, a void in their life. So Lamentations chapter 3. Where was I at? Where did I finish it? Yeah, read 5.
Lamentations chapter 3 and verse 5. He had builded against me and compassed me with gall and travail.
He says, everywhere around me is gall. Gall is like poison, man. Everything I touch doesn't turn out right. I'm compassed with gall and travail. It's always trouble. When I'm trying to get what I want, the Most High just never lets up. This is when you know the Most High it's time to get stung. And you're not going to get out of it. No matter how you wiggle through it, you have to accept the check. Until you learn to do things the right way. But it's going to keep going. I don't want to take too much of this because, let me see. Keep reading, because I want to get back to Ecclesiastes 14, but I kind of wanted to explain how even Jeremiah understood that he's been at that point where the Most High's rod of correction was put on him, and there was nothing he could do about it. And he felt low and down and broken. And I think everybody has felt that at some time in our lives while serving the Most High as well. Not just in the world, in the truth too. Because a lot of times we don't understand, I'm in the truth. How come I'm feeling this stuff still? Because he's still putting his finger on you for the good or for the bad. You got a question or statement? Okay, let's keep reading.
Verse 6. He had set me in dark places, as they that be dead of old. He had hedged me about.
He has hedged me about. Meaning there's no way I can get out. It's going to say it. Read on.
That I cannot get out.
That's the point. When you're down and the Most High's got his hands on you and there's no way to go. There's no escape. Okay, there's no escape. Read on.
He had made my chain heavy.
He's made what's mine heavy. Everything around me is heavy and difficult and uncomfortable. Read on.
Also, when I cry and shout, he shutteth out my prayer.
Yeah. Read on.
He hath enclosed my ways with whom...
Read verse 8 again. I'm sorry.
Verse 8. Also, when I cry and shout, he shutteth out my prayer.
And this is how it feels. When you're crying and you're praying to the Most High and you're asking for help, and sometimes it doesn't feel like he's listening. And that's how you know he's got his finger on you, and it's just a phase of time.
Come.
Okay? We're going to hold this. We're going to hold this. We're going to go. Matter of fact, yeah. Read this last verse, verse 9, then we're going to jump to Ecclesiastes 14.
Verse 9. He hath enclosed my ways with hewn stone.
Man, it's like he says, he's enclosed my ways with hewn stone. Hewn stone is thick, and it's dense, and it's impenetrable. And a lot of times when you're down and your spirit's broken, you feel that there's no way out.
I'm stuck.
And you're stuck, and you're going to be at this low situation forever, and there's no way to get out. Okay? Let this go. No, we don't. Finish up that verse.
He had made my paths crooked.
And the Most High has made your path to get to him very difficult, awkward, and uncomfortable. And that's how it feels when you're in a spiritual funk. When you sit back here and you're in a rut, you're on the low, and there's no way out. But once again, we're reading this in the Bible because a lot of us face this. A lot of us experience these feelings, these sensations, this cycle of positive happiness and sadness. This is common in Israel. This is common amongst our people. Okay? So we're going to let this go back to Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha 14 and verse 2. Ecclesiastes chapter 14 verse 2. We're going to get back on topic now.
Ecclesiastes chapter 14 verse 2. Blessed is he whose conscience hath not condemned him.
So you're blessed if you haven't felt what's being talked about in Lamentations 3. You're blessed if you haven't experienced being down so low and there's no way to get out. Being in a rut. Being in an unescapable situation. Because when you feel like you're in an unescapable situation, you also feel that there's no what? There's no hope. And when you feel that there's no hope is when we start to make those extreme decisions that are harmful for our life and to our family and friends. And this is why chapter 14 and 2 says, if you haven't experienced this, you've gotten through some significant things, because a lot of us do. A lot of us do experience that feeling of being trapped and there's no way out. I'm going to be stuck in this perpetual sadness. I'm going to be stuck in this perpetual
Forever.
This perpetual sadness forever. This perpetual unhappiness forever. This perpetual being alone forever. This slump forever. This is where a lot of us start to get extreme and drastic in our reactions because we feel there's no other way out.
I'm not going to give out one.
Exactly.
I feel that way.
When you feel that you can't get what you want, there's no hope, then you start to make irrational decisions that are self-destructive. So read again, verse 2.
Ecclesiastes chapter 14 verse 2. Blessed is he whose conscience hath not condemned him, and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord.
I want to find condemned. Let's see. I got a definition. I think I have that definition of condemned. Yeah. It says, so blessed is the person whose mind hasn't condemned himself. Or he talks about to condemn means to pronounce to be guilty, to doom.
To doom.
To doom, to sit back. He says, you're blessed if your mind hasn't told you that you're doomed. Because when you start to tell yourself that you're doomed, there's no way out, you're unfixable. Yes, sir?
Condemned, to doom to eternal punishment in hell, to declare incurable.
And that was to the doom to whatever my situation is, incurable. Because that's when people start making those extreme mistakes. When I tell myself what I'm going through cannot be fixed. Nobody can fix my situation. The Most High is not going to come through for me. Because this is where the mind starts to really go destructive. Is when you tell yourself there's no way out. There's no hope. Is that
Impulsive?
well, no, this is beyond impulsive. This is when you let an impulsive thought deteriorate you to having that extreme doom and gloom mindset. He says you're blessed if you haven't gotten your mind to where you're like saying, man, whatever happens is not going to work out for me. I'm doomed. I'm cursed. I'm cursed to never get blessed. Most High's never going to be there for me. He's never going to pull me out.
Why keep living?
Because if I tell myself I'm doomed and there's no way out, I'm going to push myself to sit back here and want to end my life. Where's the hope? The Most High tells us in Ephesians that we're prisoners of what?
Hope.
Hope. All we got in this truth is the hope. To hope that the Most High is going to pull us out of this situation. To hope that if we hold on to these scriptures, we'll be able to overcome any battle we got. When we lose that hope, hope deferred destroys you, man. When my hope gets broken and deferred and I lose hope, then I start making the extreme decisions. Either I go extreme or I just tune out emotionally. Those are the two extremes. Some people sit back here and hurt themselves. Other people just stop giving a shit about anything. But everybody stops giving a shit in different ways. Some people stop caring and they're self-destructive physically, or some people don't care or stop caring and they're self-destructive spiritually. And they stop caring about any and everyone around them. Because why? Why care? Why extend? Why consider somebody? These are the dangerous mindsets, that consciousness that we have to always guard against to protect ourselves from, so we don't fall prey to this mindset. Now, so it says, read the last part of verse 2.
It says, and who is not fallen from the hope in his Lord.
It's important.
Listen,
In the Lord.
this is so significant that you don't fall out of hope with the Most High. That you don't lose confidence that the Most High is a rewarder of them that diligently seek after Him. I can't ever lose that mindset that, you know what, if I do things the right way, the Most High will get me out of this. A lot of times, we'll beat ourselves down so bad till we stop thinking the Most High will be there for us in any level. If I fail in one arena, a lot of times how we're wired, then we're not going to be good in anything. And we'll take one negative experience and we'll keep multiplying that into more negative experiences until I don't think I'm good enough to even continue to do this. This is something that's so important. A lot of our people fall short in this. That's why it says, blessed for this person that doesn't condemn himself like this. You're very lucky if you haven't felt this, because a lot of us have. That desire to quit. I'm not good enough. I'm never good enough. The verses are going to explain. I don't want to sit back and do too much talking. So it says, blessed if you haven't had your mind be condemned. What I want to do, one way to help keep yourself from being in this condemned mindset, one exercise we can all use is Luke chapter 9, verse 62. Luke chapter 9, verse 62. Because this is a strategy that we need to practice. Because as we go through the verse, we're going to be reading about the worst part of our mind. And then the next verse, we're going to try to go into the proper way to correct it. So we're going to be going back and forth from negative to positive solutions. That's how we're going to kind of work this in Ecclesiastes 14. So, Luke chapter 9 and 62. Let's read that.
Luke chapter 9 and 62. And Yahushua said unto him, no man, having put his hand to the plow.
So, no man, having started the process of serving the Most High, no man, having started his process to please the Heavenly Father. Because when you start to put your hand to the plow, your weaknesses will be exposed. Your flaws will be exposed. The parts of you that are unhealthy will be exposed and come to light. And all your darkness will come to light. Read on.
And looking back is fit for the kingdom of the Most High.
One way to keep yourself from beating yourself up conscious-wise, one way to keep yourself from a self-destructive mindset is you can't keep looking back. Most people that deal with severe depression, suicidal tendencies, suicidal thoughts, can't get past the mistakes they've made in the past. All you can do when it comes to your past is to learn from it, figure out what not to do so you don't repeat the same scenario. But most people, when they're caught up in the extreme sadness, the extreme pain, the extremes of feeling bad about your decisions, you live in the past.
Guys, this is how Heath Ledger died. I know he's not an Israelite, but the situation applies. It applies.
Okay.
Heath Ledger locked himself in a hotel room,
Okay.
and he's trying to get in the mindset of the Joker. He's trying to go from Heath Ledger to the Joker, and he kept experimenting with different pills and different combinations of cocktails until, you know what? After he did his movie, the movie was great, but he couldn't get that mindset off of him.
Yep.
He couldn't separate from that mind. He became one with that mentality. He got in the character and couldn't get out of character. That's what we do as Israelites. We play with certain thoughts. Those certain thoughts, they stop going away. They won't go away no more. Now it's a party.
Yep.
Now it's going to follow you in the room, in the bathroom, in the car, on your bed.
Yep.
When you're around people, had a conversation, right? The conversation at a pause moment, those thoughts are still there, and we're not washing those thoughts out of our mind.
But once again, when you get into Luke 9:62, he's explaining that looking back is one of those symptoms of a person who stays sick. You can't constantly focus on your failures. You can't constantly focus on how you fell short. You can't constantly focus on the losses. Because when you sit back, you're looking back at this is not just looking back about wanting the world. Because a lot of times you can use Luke 92 and talk about you can't serve the Most High and look back and want the world and get the kingdom. True. It's also, I can't serve the Most High with full potency and power and live in regret.
Yeah.
You can't live in regret. You can't sit back here and harp on what you've lost. And I wish it was as easy as repenting and moving on, brother, but a lot of our people can't ever get past the love they lost. They can never get past the mistakes they made with a brother or with themselves or with a friend, the loss of friends, the loss of connections, the mistakes they made with children. A lot of us can't get past, and those past failures and mistakes becomes that roadblock for individuals trying to move forward. You got a question, sir?
No, I was saying, is that like looking back in the what ifs?
Yeah.
What if I would have done this?
Yes.
What if I would have done
That's
that?
it.
Because we all go there.
I know, that's the
nobody's
point.
going to go back to high school. If I would have done this.
Everybody's in high school too. Yeah, it'd be
I'm just saying,
great moments if I would have
yeah,
went back
yeah.
in high school, right? But anyway.
But you don't get to understand that's past and gone. It's over. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it anymore. You just got to accept whatever choice you made was the choice you needed to make, and that helped you get to where you're at.
And the thing is, that's the great answer. When we all laying down at night, we look at the four walls, and we're feeling down.
It's not that easy.
Feeling down. Sometimes it's hard to get out of the 80s or the 90s
Or 6 months ago.
or 6 months ago. I'm not even trying to joke here. I'm trying as hard as I can to
This
get
is a real
us to understand,
situation.
because a lot of us can't get past our mistakes, and we can't. And our conscience doesn't let us. Our mind continues to beat us up, saying that we're no good. You messed up back then. You're gonna mess up moving forward, and that debilitates you. It breaks you down inside. But read Luke 9:62 again.
Luke 9:62. And Yahushua said unto him, no man, having put his hand to the plow, and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of the Most High.
You're not going to be able to move forward and get to this kingdom if you're so caught up with what you've lost. You're so caught up with the mistakes that you've made that you can't let it go and move forward. Like I said, when you're down, when you're up, you don't even think about it. But when you're down, you're reminiscing. When you're down, you go back into all your mistakes.
There's a list.
There's a laundry list as you're chugging alcohol, or you're smoking dro, or you're sitting there drowning yourself in junk food.
Binge watching that.
Binge watching, or eating the hell out of food, eating the hell out of ice cream, just banging out ice cream like a mug. Whatever your vice is, eating. I've known brothers who've binge eaten. They just binge eaten themselves. They just got bigger and bigger and bigger. That was their way to cope with their mistakes and their loss. Whether it's binge eating, clubbing, womanizing. These are real things that real men and women deal with. Yes, sir.
No, I was gonna say, does this also deal with like offenses too? Like if a person get offended?
Well, what do you mean by offenses?
Like, just say like a brother said something to another brother.
Well, it's not necessarily dealing with depression. That fuels anger.
Or like, I'm just saying like get into a fight or something like that.
Well, that fuels your anger, and that will take you holding back into grudges, breaks you down too. But this is more about dealing with regrets. I get where you're coming from, and holding negative in any way is toxic. But when I'm dealing with a mindset that makes extreme decisions when they're down, this is more about reminiscing and focusing on mistakes. And in order to keep your lows from being too low, you can't be looking back. All I can do is deal with the information that I have now and make decisions based off what I know now. I can't sit back here and do this time machine and make adjustments.
People are caught up in they're caught up in their disappointments.
Because what happened is this: I sin, I make mistakes, I lose time. And a lot of us can't get past the fact that we've lost time. We can't get past the fact we can't get your time back. You can't get the loves lost back. And the reality is, the loss, a lot of times we look back because we can't get over the loss. But in order to move forward, you have to get past it. And a lot of us are wired. I know a lot of people who are wired living in the past. And that is a very dangerous mindset to be in. Once again, for those of us who don't have this issue, cool.
They are blessed.
But that's what he said in verse 1, is you're blessed if you're not dealing with this conscious issue. This consciousness issue. We're not beating yourself up. You are lucky. But a lot of us aren't. So, let's get back in the scriptures. Get back to, let that verse go on 9:62 and give me Galatians 2:18. And somebody else give me 2 Peter 2:20.
Galatians 2:18.
Galatians 2:18, 2 Peter 2:20. Let's get it. Galatians 2:18.
Galatians chapter 2, verse 18 reads, "For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor."
And a lot of times when we're looking back, we're building on things that we've already supposed to have destroyed. All I'm supposed to be doing, if I make a mistake, is to focus on what not to do the next time. And that you're supposed to kill it after that. I can't focus on remorse. I can't focus on regret. I can't focus on rehashing those emotions that break you. All I can focus on is what do I got to do next time to be better with the next person that I come across. I have to kill those emotions right before they even come to me. And that's why it says if I'm going to build again things I've broken, I am a transgressor. I am a transgressor when I keep rehashing the old ways. I am a transgressor when I keep rehashing old feelings, old emotions, old resentments, old loss, old pain. I'm putting myself back in a position to fail. If I want to recover, if I want to get myself back on my feet, I can't sit back and look back and build on those old emotions. A lot of times we want to sit back here, we're comfortable living in those old spaces of emotion, that old sadness.
The old thing, huh?
That old sadness, those old feelings, those old love songs, those old Brian McKnight songs, man, you know what I mean? A lot of times we're so acquainted with grief. Grief makes us feel better. I don't know if you've come across people that people are acquainted with sadness. They're comfortable with sadness. They're comfortable feeling bad. A lot of times, a lot of times people that are poets or writers or artists, they're at their best when they're tapped into those emotions and those strong feelings. And it's so important to go against those feelings and emotions if you want to stay spiritually sane. The Spirit of the Most High deals with logic and understanding and clarity of mind. When we play with these emotions and these feelings that we had in the past and bring them back to the present, it's a recipe for disaster. We're going to let this go. Is there any more in that verse? In Galatians? No, that's it. I want 2 Peter 2:20.
2 Peter 2:20.
2 Peter 2:20.
For if after they have escaped...
Slow down. For after what?
For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Most High and our Savior Yahushua, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse than the beginning.
So when you sit back here and make that decision to overcome that old way, the old way doesn't just mean, when you say being in the world, A lot of times being in the world doesn't just mean breaking the law. Being in the world means holding on to and rehashing all those thoughts and those feelings and those emotions that are deadly for you.
Being destructive.
The idea that, listen, when you come out of the world, there's a lot of self-hatred that's nurtured in yourself. Self-hatred, self-loathing. I know I wasn't shit. My mama told me I wasn't shit. People around me told me I wasn't shit. So now that you hit a roadblock, what do you tell yourself? You ain't shit. You ain't nothing. And you start sitting back here. I'm trying to be.
No, I was thinking about something I used to tell myself. I know I do it bad, but I do it real good.
But that's what a lot of people start to do. They start sitting back here, and that's the worldly mindset. But if I tell myself I do bad, and now I'm start making mistakes, and you tell yourself that, you stop giving a shit.
It's all right.
And you just start doing it. But that's how we're wired in the world. So if I want to sit back here, getting back to the point though, if I want to maintain spiritual uprightness, positivity, I can't give my mind to these thoughts that break me. These mental vices that keep me down, keep me sad. A lot of us are wired to self-hate.
Stay down.
A lot of us are wired to feeling bad about yourself. A lot of us are wired to see the worst in ourselves. And these are the facts. So whenever something happens that's not perfect, we start to beat ourselves up. We condemn ourselves. We naturally condemn ourselves. The world has taught us that. So I have to make sure that when I'm keep killing myself from the world, if I'm separating myself from the world, not only am I not eating pork and breaking the laws anymore, I have to start rehabilitating my mental health, I have to start learning how to see the good in things. That is significant. You might see the good in things when I study. You might see the good in working at a certain hardness. You might feel good when you give to somebody, but you might feel bad when it comes to relationships. What is that button that makes you feel less than?
What's that arena?
What's that arena that makes you feel less than right? That makes you loathe yourself. Those are the things you have to watch out for and build up and not lean to keep yourself spiritually healthy. Because what good is having a bunch of Bible verses, a bunch of information if you hate yourself, if you loathe yourself, if you're self-destructive? Then we're not using the Bible properly. And we're not teaching properly if that's the case. We have to get everybody to find happiness and peace of mind in what you do every day and have peace and acceptance in your mistakes and your decisions from the past and learn to move forward. Let's continue. Let that go in 2 Peter 2:20, Jeremiah 18:12. And then we're going back to Ecclesiastes 14. Jeremiah 18:12.
Jeremiah chapter 18, verse 12. And they said, there is no hope, but we will walk after our own devices.
And a lot of times when we get to the point where there's no hope, when I lose hope, when I lose confidence that there is a way to get me stronger, that's when I start breaking laws. That's when I start really destroying myself.
The downward spiral.
The downward spiral is when we lose hope. And we have to make sure that we don't allow ourselves to lose hope. That there is a possibility for us to change. There's a possibility for us to get out of the situation that we're in. There's always hope. There's always a way.
Yeah, pull this
Yeah,
definition.
please do.
It says despair. 8:28. Loss of hope in the mercy of the Most High.
Exactly.
That's where a person's mind goes.
Exactly.
You don't think it's going to get any...
You don't think it's going to get any better. You don't think the Most High is going to pull you out of your situation.
It's never going to get better.
Exactly.
Or never going to get it right.
Exactly. When we start operating in those extreme words, never, it's not possible, it's not going to happen, I can't, I won't.
Without even going through the proper channels to counter and see, does my self-belief, this internal belief, is it true or false?
Yes.
People, what they usually do is they hold onto a bunch of inner beliefs, internal thoughts, and we hold on to them as if they're true.
Like isms. We call them isms.
We call them isms. But we don't confirm them. We don't stress test the isms. We don't stress test those strong ass beliefs. And
we'll stress test it. We'll just keep doing shit wrong.
Well, true, but I'm saying stress test meaning that we don't allow people to interject and prove. Because I know even myself, when I've made a certain statement, and I believe it's 100% true, and I'm around competent people in the scriptures, they're like, that's just not true.
It's not even a real statement.
But because we feel it really strongly, we believe it based on how intense the emotion is. And that's dangerous. And that's why people go down dark places in their spirit.
And you feel that because your consciousness led you to believe your feelings.
God.
And this is why it's so dangerous. The more you feed your feelings, you feed your thoughts, you feed your own impulses, those feelings become truths to you. Those feelings become realities to the individual. And that's when you start living and breathing that delusion. And that delusion can take you out.
A couple of scriptures right here. St. John 4:1.
1 John.
1 John. 1 John 4:1.
1 John chapter 4 verse 1.
So this should be a daily process. Read.
Beloved,
the Most High chose the Israelites. He chose us as a people, right? We're the beloved of the Most High. Read.
believe not every spirit.
Do you believe every impulse and strong emotion and strong feel and strong passion that hits you? Do you take full belief in that strong passion? The scripture says, believe not every spirit. Read.
But try the spirits.
Try means to examine and to test. The what?
Try the spirits.
Try the spirits. Read.
Whether they are of the Most High.
Do you ask yourself, is this thought from the Most High or is this thought not from the Most High?
No doubt.
Where did this come from?
And is this feeling that I have a reality? It's how I feel true. And it goes into why it's so important to have brothers and sisters and people who you can keep bouncing your thoughts up. Because a lot of times we'll tell ourselves how we feel is the reality. And how we feel is an illusion. And we can't get past the illusion. The illusion becomes muddled with the truth.
Yeah.
What was you going to say? Keep going. I'm sorry.
And what happens is, because we don't make a habit, a daily, dinner hourly habit of, is this strong emotion? Is this biblical? Is it correct? Not the Most High? Can somebody else I teach? Can I teach this to somebody else so this is on point?
And can I say this on your point?
Yeah.
You said it was a damn near an hourly process that a person has to go through, right?
Yeah.
This is why in the psychological industry, well, Esau understands how hard it is to sit back and rehabilitate somebody. You know what Esau does? Instead of sitting back here and hourly monitoring people in the world, because they don't give a shit about it, I'd rather just keep you drugged up. I'm gonna dope you up so you don't think as much. What do you think ADHD pills and medication is all about? It's all about slowing your mind down mechanically. So you don't have to sit back here and get taught how to control your thoughts. Whether even a lot of medication that's in the world, it's just about doping you, keeping you high, so you're numb to really dealing with the issues inside of you. And that's how Esau's medication is built. Because who in their right mind in the world is going to sit back here and daily monitor your thoughts? Daily say that's not a rational thought. That's a rational thought. That's a rational thought. That's rational. That's irrational. You're tripping. That's good. That's wrong. That's right. Who's going to sit back and invest that time into your mind, into your mental process? But that's what it takes to start teaching you how to even start fighting back in your thoughts, in your feelings. Somebody has to teach you what emotions to hold on to, what emotions to let go of. And that's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of love to invest that type of time into a person. And it takes the other person to be humble enough to express the multiple levels of issues that's inside of them. It's a two-way street. But this is why the medication industry is multi-billion-dollar industry, because who's going to put that work in?
Not many.
Not many people.
So what happens is they make multi-billions of $1 billion out of it.
Yeah.
Well, they charge out the ass per hour.
Yeah. But they're only talking to you for 1 hour a week. Then they're giving you more dope. You only go in there to get your prescription.
A prescription and a pep talk.
Yeah.
Or you go to church and you get some good music
Yep.
and a pep talk.
Yep.
Well, one's got at least
What's
cheap.
that like banjo thing with the little thing on the side?
Yeah.
It's like a circle. See, you're hearing that tambourine.
It's gonna be all right. I said it's gonna.
Yes!
It's gonna be. Everybody say with
Religion!
neighbor, it's gonna be all right.
Yep.
And then people feel good for about a day, maybe two. Turn around, look at it, and say, neighbor.
That has to be like a legitimate church thing.
That's a real thing.
That's hilarious. I'm never like, look at your neighbor.
And say, I proclaim the spirit's not going to ride me.
Oh my God.
Rebuke the devil. And so what they do,
Damn the devil.
they tell you that what you're supposed to do, but they don't give you the process for it.
They don't know the process.
Man, just rebuke the damn devil. That's not enough. Or singing, that's not enough.
Nope.
You're going to have to hourly attack your thinking.
Well, you know, the preacher has to sit back here and be on the phone all day long.
You don't want to do that.
Who want to be on the phone all day with a whole congregation? That's not the right thought, brother. So how was your day today, brother?
Somebody sing real quick. Play the song again. Play it again. Play it again and again.
And what happened again?
Someone asked a question.
Oh my God, that was a good song. That was a good song. That was
Like,
a
that
really
is
good
my
song.
song. If you're mine, it's like people are crying and shit. They get it out. And they move on.
They get
for
the
it.
hands like this.
What do we really mean? And you're like, I sing because I'm happy. And people's like, everybody feels the same
This
way.
guy was in the church for a long time. He knows all those
Listen,
songs.
I
man.
watched this. His eyes on the sparrow. It's on the sparrows on
Oh,
you.
man.
It's on you. And listen, people feel that. They need the feeling to get them through the week. They need a strong feeling to combat another strong feeling.
Yep.
We need a strong impulse to counter another strong impulse. I gotta get high.
But you're going
It's a
from different
type of high.
type of highs, but you don't actually solve anything.
I'm spirit riding.
Exactly.
And we teach. We used to do it years ago. We used to hype brothers up back in the day. But we did it to help keep us fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There, but
I'm gonna say
I
we had morning strength, but then we had to sit down here. I was dealing with them damn calls every damn day long.
I know.
I was in my
You
ears
was
were
calling
burning.
it
I was
out.
like, what happened? What's going on?
Only
brother?
he have bloody ears every day. I was bleeding now.
Listen, because somebody has to listen to the problems.
Listen. It
Somebody
was
got to listen to the vomit out.
you would go to war and hype yourself to run through walls in the morning, and then you make phone calls every hour. This is madness out for years, and then eventually you hit the wall and say, you know what? Do you read the Bible for yourself out? No. Where you gonna read the damn
I'm
Bible?
living off your shit.
Like, you're waiting for the brother to wake up. Brother's just drained. Brother's drained. Cause I tried to tell him.
I read no Bibles,
I said,
man.
well, don't worry, but I got it. I'll make the phone calls more. Let more chill a little bit. Damn.
No, bro.
So I'm making phone calls like crazy, like for years.
It's maddening. It's maddening.
Okay. What's going on with you? I gotta go with you. Damn. 2 hours later. You good? Lord, damn, huh?
Yeah.
Then you look up.
Or they want to talk at 7 o'clock at night. They don't want to talk from 10 to 6:59.
Con.
Then they want to talk from 7. The day's done, bro. It's over.
Brother, it's fucking over.
I'm
sorry.
The people.
It's like, yeah, but listen.
We can say "damn it" and those kind of words, but we can't sit back here.
But this is after begging.
Yes.
You get the nothing wrong. Huh? It's you get. Okay, I'm sorry. But the point we're getting to is, so what happens is, after a certain point, the person has to take the quest of being in order mentally. That has to be your quest too.
It has to be joint. You have to start wanting to change along with the teacher being available at all times. Listen, we have a lot to get to. Let's keep going.
Come on.
So did we finish Jeremiah? We did finish Jeremiah 18 and 12. Let's go back to Ecclesiastes chapter 14, verse 3.
Come on.
You remember them churches.
I remember all that, man. I was like,
That was awesome.
people did.
I saved because of I remember that part. I remember that one. I do remember that song.
Survive, man.
Yeah, bro. So Ecclesiastes chapter 14. This whole chapter is talking about the same thing. So let's get this verse. This verse kind of comes off like it doesn't have anything to do with your conscience and your outlook, but it does. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 14, verse 3.
What it shows you, there's a pattern that connects people that have outlook issues, conscious issues, the ability to not look back, The ability to look, the weakness of looking back and being caught in the past is very similar to what this next verse talks about. The inside of a person is similar in this. Read verse 3.
It says, riches are not comely for a niggard.
Riches are not comely for a niggard. What is a niggard in definition? Definition of a niggard is a miser. A person who hoards money unnecessarily. Not a person who's frugal or who saves for the right reasons. It's a person who inordinately stashes money. Now, if I sit back and look at the psychology of a person that's always this miser, an inordinate miser, why is a person that miser inordinately? Why would a person even think like that? Because the similarity in a person with outlook issues with the niggard is that the fact that whatever they have is never enough. That is one of the major issues with the person who deals with mental health. Unhappiness, sadness, however my mind is wired, I can never see that what the Most High has given me is sufficient. So I gotta keep holding on. I gotta keep holding on to everything around me so tightly because I don't think I'll get anything else. It's a person that's constantly holding, can never give, always thinks that they're lacking, always thinks that somebody is out to get them, always thinks that can never see the good right in front of them. That's another reason why somebody's always looking back. They're always looking at things worst case scenario. So it says riches are not comely for a niggard. And comely, if I'm not mistaken.
Beautiful, attractive.
What's that?
Beautiful, attractive, valuable.
Valuable, exactly. Because you can sit back here and have all the money in the world. It's not enough. I can have riches, ain't enough. Okay, read on.
It says, and what should an envious man do with money? He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others.
Mm-hmm. No, okay, I'm sorry. I just had to look at this text real quick. And what should an envious man do with money? We're going to keep going. Read on.
Right. Verse 4. He that gathereth.
Gathereth means to produce, to work, to do your job. He says, he that gathereth by, read on.
By defrauding his own soul gathereth for others. So
he says, he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul. We're going to define what defraud is. One of the definitions for defraud is to defeat or to frustrate wrongfully. So a person who's defrauding yourself, you're always defeating yourself. You're always functioning in a defeated, I can't do it mindset. And this is how you know that pattern of person who you have to really watch out for and keep strong and build up. The person that can't see the good that's right in front of them. Mm-hmm. I'm always lacking. That mindset that where the glass is always half empty. That person that can't see the good in anything around them. Mm-hmm. That mindset that constantly condemns himself. That mindset that's self-destructive. Because that person he says, he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul. I defraud my own soul by defeating myself, beating myself up, telling myself that I'm not good enough. Having that low self-esteem, that self-hatred. These are the spirits and people that the Most High sends in the knowledge. Most High said, we're supposed to heal the sick and cleanse the leper. We're supposed to sit back here and deal with those sick people that naturally defraud themselves. They can't see the good in anything around them. This is what we're working on.
I'm robbing myself.
I'm robbing myself of the opportunities to truly grow in the Most High in Christ. Because I keep telling myself I'm not good enough. What good is listening to class and getting the scriptures if I can never give myself a break and tell myself that I'm doing good, I'm trying, I'm taking steps forward? A lot of us lack that self-confidence, that part of us that can just see the little goodness. What you going to say?
Defraud means to defeat or frustrate wrongfully.
Yes. That's it. Yeah, exactly. To defeat or frustrate wrongfully. That defeated mindset. But you're defrauding yourself. Because if I keep telling myself I'm
wrong
not
with
good
doing
enough,
myself. Wow.
if I'm telling myself I'm not good enough, I can never even open myself up to growing. If I tell myself I can't do it, how many people do you know that tell themselves they can't do it? They're not good enough.
From their youth?
In their youth. I'm trying to get somebody the confidence to read and study. I'm trying to give a person the confidence to be better. And they tell themselves they're just not good enough. It's very hard to crack through that mindset, to build confidence, to build in a person that they can do, they can achieve. Yes.
Would that be that person that comes back and says, I'm not even going to try that?
Well, that's the next step.
Yeah.
The next step is if I tell myself I'm not good enough, then why try? And that's when they start breaking the law, going left, and it's screwing up.
Crashing out. Yeah.
The challenge is to get a person to tell themselves they can try, they can do it. And if I'm the husband to the wife that tells us she can't do it, or it's reversed, or I have children who tell us they can't do it, once again, do you have enough love in you to be there step by step to continue to build confidence in that person? I'm not telling you to BS them, because I've seen people try that method. You gas them up, you BS them, you give them false hope. That doesn't work either. You lie to them. That don't help. I have to be able to teach a person what true growth is, what true progress is, because they have to learn how to see true progress in themselves. That means I can't BS them, I can't lie to them, I can't tell them that they're producing A1 work when they ain't doing shit. But I can walk them through how to do things the right way until they can start learning how to rechange that mindset they have. It's the constant dealing with a quitting spirit, a spirit that doesn't think they're good enough. This is how we work it. First of all, being able to see that, because he says, he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others. Read on.
It says, that shall spend his goods riotously.
Meaning, first of all, before you can help anybody else out, you have to have the ability to help yourself out.
Can I make this point too?
Yeah.
And people, they prey on people with weak confidence.
Mm-hmm.
People take and rob people
Yeah.
and give them false hope
Yes, they do.
and play mind games and manipulate people for years that have this position. You don't want to allow, you don't want your youth, you don't want your friends to walk around in this mentality. People love to manipulate people that are weak in themselves.
Yes.
They love
have
it.
low self-esteem.
So when a person's spending your goods riotously, that means somebody's being manipulated
You're getting taken advantage of.
because they have low self-esteem. And now people are taking the best of them.
You know why? Because it's harder to sit back here and fight to get you. Because, people that feel low about themselves, they'll give to others. And that makes them feel temporarily good. But they won't work on fixing what's inside of them. If you really love somebody, you'll sit back and commit to teaching them through their own good things. In order to teach a person to see the good in themselves, you have to put up goals and expectations, achievable goals and expectations. Realistic, that's the word I'm looking for. Realistic goals and expectations for them to accomplish. That's how you have to be. But you have to really put the time into establishing. You have to know the person good enough to know what is an attainable goal I can get this person to work towards, so that they can see that there's good in themselves.
Can I make this point?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's no different than, and we had this, you're talking about these years for years. This brother that would look at this total, and it'd be this extreme, lofty ideal that should reach for that day. And it's almost impossible to reach this ideal. This ideal is, I cannot
Fathom
do
it.
this.
Yep.
It is not real. And then when they try and they make the attempt, and they honestly gave it the good try, and they failed, here comes the next day.
Yep.
And then every day he starts to hammer them lower and lower and lower. It's about breaking your issues into small pieces, like they say.
But that's really up to the person that spirit yields himself to. And the person who is in charge of developing a person's spirit has to sit back and create those attainable goals, so that a person can feel good about making the small steps before you accomplish the bigger step. That's what's so important. She's coming back, I think.
Okay.
But that's how we have to work psychologically with the people around us. Okay? That person who naturally defrauds themselves but gives to others. You want to sit back here. If a teacher is doing a good job, they're focusing on getting that person strong versus keeping that person dependent on them. Okay? Now let's keep going. Ecclesiasticus. Matter of fact, before we go any further at that, another way we can kind of explain the defrauding spirit to defeat yourself. How do we defeat ourselves? Okay, obviously the mindset breaks us, and that's how we defeat ourselves. But I want to go through some verses on how I defraud myself. How do I defraud myself? We're going to go to Proverbs 15 and 32 as an example of how I defraud myself. Okay, how we defraud ourselves. Because a lot of times we'll sit back here and we don't even realize we're defrauding ourselves while we're in the truth. We're weakening ourselves. We're breaking ourselves. We're defeating ourselves because we're doing certain things the wrong way.
And we're cheating ourselves out of the results.
We're cheating ourselves out of the experience we're supposed to all get with serving the Most High. When you sit back here and serve the Most High, you're supposed to be stronger in your spirit. You're supposed to see results that benefit you. But by nature, we come into this knowledge and we're defrauding ourselves because of this. Read that. Proverbs 15 and 32.
Proverbs chapter 15 verse 32 reads, "He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own
A
soul."
lot of us who sit back here and who are what's the word? The people that defraud their spirit, defraud their own spirit, are also the ones that despise following instructions.
Or resist information.
They resist counsel. We resist being taught the wrong thing. So listen, why does a person continue to not find success in doing this work? Because we keep doing things the wrong way. And when we keep doing things the wrong way, we don't get the results expected. And then we're unhappy, we're sad, we're pissed, we're vexed, because we're not doing things the right way.
I got to make this point too.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. There's been a season where I've rejected a lot of information.
Yeah.
I've rejected a lot of counsel. And now, I'm going to give it 2 months of trying. Well, listen, man, it's going to be really hard to just turn it all around in 2 months.
Because listen, this is the thing. Why do people say, I don't want to do this no more? I don't want to get up in the morning anymore. How does a person get hopeless? Because they try and they try and they try and they fail. They try and they try and they try and they don't succeed. Well, why don't we succeed? We don't succeed because we don't follow instructions. We don't do things decently and in order. And because we don't do things the right way, we don't get the results. We already have low self-esteem. We already are accustomed to quitting and failure in the world. Think about this. It's almost like we're almost setting ourselves up for disaster. Most of us fail in the world. We're unsuccessful in the world. We come in the truth. We want to do things our way. We have a zeal for the Most High, but not in what?
Knowledge.
Not in knowledge. In Romans 10 it says, we want to do good. We don't know how to do good. So we have this zeal. We're already broken in spirit. But then we refuse instruction. We refuse to do the little things the right way. But we expect optimal results. We expect optimal results, but we refuse instruction, so we keep failing. We keep failing and failing and failing, and then all of a sudden, we fail long enough, now we're unhappy. We don't find gratification in this. We're angry, there's a void in our heart. Then you start getting hopeless. You start losing hope. And when you start losing hope, you make extreme, irrational decisions. But where did all this come from?
That's the question.
How do you get to a point where you're defrauding yourself and you're destroying yourself? It happens because we just didn't learn or accept how to follow instruction the right way. If we refuse instruction, we hate our own spirit. We despise our own spirit because we choose not to follow instructions the right way. And that spirals into a downward angle. Yes, sis?
How does that apply to a person that doesn't have the Most High? Or even a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
a young kid that hasn't even lived yet?
But it's the same thing. If I'm a young person and I'm not in the truth, let's just go not in the truth. That person still doesn't follow instruction. Now, why does a person that's young choose not to follow instruction? You know, hey, I might sit back here in my youth and just not like the idea of feeling. Some people, correction feels like a punishment. Instruction to some people feel like it's a death sentence. And if I look at correction as grievous, as uncomfortable, as unnecessary, and if I refuse instruction, I'm still despising my spirit. I'm still despising growth, whether I'm in the truth or out the truth. It's the same concept, because if I don't do things the right way, I'm not going to get the right results. And if I don't get the right results enough times, now I'm going to start hating myself. But the reason I hate myself is because I don't follow instructions. So it's this vicious cycle.
Come.
It's this vicious cycle of I don't listen to instruction, I fail, I feel bad, I want to do extreme things because I feel bad. Then I try it again, but I don't follow instruction, I fail, I feel bad.
I call it the cycle of poverty.
It's this,
Because you always in this low position and you never win.
whether it's in the world, to sit back here and how do I function, get a regular job in the world,
Come.
or serving the
Come.
Most High. The
Come.
cycle is still the same.
Come.
And it's insanity. The insanity is there's a proper way to do things, but you just don't want to do it. Finding out what is that roadblock that keeps you from receiving instruction is everything. When I've dealt with brothers for 20 years, that's the first thing I ask myself. What is it about correction that this person hates? What did he go through in his youth to make him think that correction is a bad thing? Maybe he has an issue with authority figures, or she. Maybe the idea of authority figures is a problem. Maybe the idea that this person feels less intelligent when you tell them that something that they got to fix. Maybe it's pride. But pride is still based upon I feel low when somebody has to tell me verbatim what to do. What is it that makes a person not want to do things the right way? So before I can sit back here and even build self-esteem and get a person to not hate themselves or get a person to not stop hurting themselves, I got to start from scratch. And the beginning of a person hating their soul, their spirit, is the fact that there's something in them that makes them refuse instruction. And that is the beginning of a person that hate. That is the beginning of self-hatred. The beginning of self-hatred is when I refuse instruction. But when I when I have that self-hatred of not following instruction, it will spiral out into a self-destructive act. What you gonna say?
I got to show to prove his point. Proverbs 13 and 18. It says, poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction.
Yeah.
So the poverty is you don't get what you want.
Yeah.
I stay lacking. Month 2 lacking. Month 3 lacking. Year 4 lacking. Well, not year 4, but
Year 10.
Months become years. Years become decades.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These things happen.
Yeah. When you just don't figure it out, and you don't figure it out because you don't want to hear what it takes to figure it out.
It says, poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction. We forget the shame part. We hear the poverty part because you ain't get what you want. We forget the shame part. And the shame leads to self-loathing.
Yep.
So that not getting what I want and the internal shame, which becomes self-hatred,
Yep.
is for who? It's for the people that resist instructions.
Time.
And if this is the problem, it's not like the person that's resisting instruction is not trying. They're just trying the wrong way.
Like James said, you're asking amiss. You're not asking the right way.
The Most High honors you by doing a specific ABC steps.
And this is when people start to sit back and get angry at the Most High. And once you get angry at the Most High, then you start losing hope.
Come on.
Then you get self-destructive. Then you start to hurt yourself. But it all starts with not doing things the right way and not learning how to follow the right way. And as we go on Ecclesiastes 14, it gives all these answers. It gives all the clarity. If we go into it, we'll never get to this.
No, but this one point.
Yeah,
though?
yes.
And you have Cain and Abel, right? Both of them sacrificed.
Gave an offering. Yeah.
Both Cain gave an offering, and I'm pretty sure he tried really hard.
Yeah.
I guarantee Cain put his work into it.
Yep.
He tilled the ground out.
Yep. He gave him the best fruits and vegetables
The best.
that he had.
Abel gave the Most High the best of what he had. But the Most High was checking the spirit that they were entertaining while they were working.
It was that, and it was, what do I asked you for this. You gave me what you wanted versus giving me what I wanted. And when I give the Most High what I want versus giving the Most High what He wants, it shows that a person is willing to follow instructions. I'm telling you, the sadness, the unhappiness, the extreme thoughts in nature starts off with the lack of a willingness to follow instructions. That's how I start that deterioration of my soul. Read Proverbs 15:32 again.
Come.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 32 reads, He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul.
Because everything after not following instruction is going to be going downhill. It's not going to work out the right way that you want. And then when you get that hope deferred, you're going to sit back here and be let down and angry and pissed off, and you're going to go left. Okay, let that go. We're going to go to Proverbs 8:36.
8:36.
Proverbs 8:36.
Proverbs 8:36. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul.
When you sin against the Most High, you wrong your own soul out. When you don't follow instructions, when you do things your way, you're really hurting yourself. And there's a lot of us that by nature, we're accustomed to harming ourselves. We self-harm. It's almost like a lot of us by nature are used to sitting back here and what's the word? I want to say we self-sabotage.
Yeah.
We self-sabotage all the time, and we expect these blessings to happen, but we self-sabotage, and we look up and our life is messed up, and we're sad that we don't have the things we want, but we've sabotaged ourselves by sinning. We sabotage ourselves by not following instructions. But we expect that I can self-sabotage and I'll get some results that work out to me. That is the very definition of insanity. Insanity is doing things the wrong way, but doing things the same way, but expecting a different result.
Yeah.
Yes, sis?
I was going to say I have a definition for self-deprecation.
Mm-hmm.
Is the act of reprimanding oneself by belittling, undervaluing, or disparaging oneself, or being excessively modest.
Say that again from the beginning.
Self-deprecation, the act of reprimanding oneself by belittling, undervaluing, or disparaging oneself.
Exactly. But you know what? So when I'm sitting back here and belittling my ability, I belittle my self-worth. The crazy thing is this. You belittle your self-worth. We belittle our self-worth because we've never learned how to do things the right way to see success. This is what, for me, and everybody does things differently, but it's very important when you're dealing with your children. They have to see success. They have to see that if you do things the right way, there's a positive result. When you do things the wrong way, there's a negative result. Now, you can do that for your child or your wife or your husband or whatever the case, and brothers, in whatever way you want to do it. But a person needs to know that if I follow instructions the right way, there is success. The funny thing is, I know a lot of people, when they first come to truth, don't understand that one true fact. A lot of people have never learned doing things decently in order produces the right results in my life. So if I never do things the right way, if I never learn how to follow instructions, I'm going to self-deprecate. I'm going to tell myself I'm low, I'm nothing, I ain't nothing. Because they never learn from their youth how to do things the right way. This is how we talk about how the scripture says how we as Israelites have to be a father to the fatherless. One of the major things that we deal with are fatherless children. A father's responsibility is to build self-esteem, confidence, learning how to do things the right way to see results. A lot of the men that come into this truth have never seen success. They don't know what success equals. All they know is failure, loss, mistakes, abandonment.
Yeah.
So we have to sit back here and teach young men how to follow. You can't go past anything else but teaching a person how to follow. If I want to build self-esteem, if I want to build confidence, if I want to build happiness, if I want to eliminate the spirit of suicide and hatred in yourself, I got to get a person to learn how to follow instructions, do things the right way, see success, and get them addicted to that. Because if I can get a person addicted to following instruction before I see success, now when they hit a roadblock, They can always go back to their past successes and say, okay, damn, when I asked enough questions, when I followed instructions, when I did things the right way, it turned out right for me. So now I got to ask the right questions and communicate and counsel so I can overcome this battle. You have to give somebody the tools they need to get strong so they can push forward. And that's where the work is. I have to teach somebody. We have to teach the fatherless, the sick, how to gain confidence in following instructions and doing things the right way. That is the beginning of building self-confidence, self-worth, self-esteem. Then I got to sit back here and teach that process in different arenas to help make a person well-rounded. This is how you build a spirit from scratch. It is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of selflessness involved in this process. Okay. Let that go in Proverbs 8 and 36. Jump to Proverbs 19 and 8. Proverbs 19 and 8.
Proverbs 19 and 8. He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul.
And listen, the process of attaining wisdom, the process of finding wisdom, what is wisdom? It is the correct application of what?
Knowledge.
So it's the correct application of knowledge. So once you learn how to do things correctly, that's how you start to love your soul. You start hating your soul when you don't follow instruction, when you don't learn how to do what you're told. You start to love your soul. You start to correct that self-hatred when you learn to follow and do things the right way. That is how a man or woman learns to love their own spirit. If I don't learn to love my own spirit, I'm no good to anybody else. So that is what we have to do when we're building up our young sons, our young daughters, young sisters, young brothers. We have to get them to learn to love to do things the right way, to love to pursue wisdom. If we can get that, then we can start building self-esteem, and we can start correcting the self-hatred, the self-loathing, the suicidal thoughts.
The extremes, yeah.
The extremes that we go through. Does that make sense so far? Okay. We're going to let that go in Proverbs 19 and 8 and jump to Proverbs 11 and 17. Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 17.
Proverbs chapter 11, verse 17. The merciful man doth good to his own soul.
Listen, we have to learn to have mercy on ourselves. We have to learn to stop beating ourselves up. I got to be merciful to myself. Listen, we're teaching about fixing things and being the best you can be and breaking the negative in us. We're supposed to do that. But I can't walk around here and keep telling myself I ain't nothing. I ain't nothing. I ain't never going to be nothing. I ain't shit. I can't keep telling myself this bombardment of negativity.
Yeah.
I have to be able to be merciful on my own soul. Yeah, you know what, man? I've made some mistakes, but you know what? I'm good at. I have good in me and I have bad in me. I've made mistakes. I have flaws, but I can do better, and I will do better. But you know what? Me. The Most High show me that I'm flawed. The Most High show me that I have a long ways to go. Isn't the end of the world? It's not death to me. You know what? I just got to keep working on what's inside of me. I have an entire lifetime to finish this. I have to learn to not beat myself up. Read that again. Proverbs 11 and 17.
The merciful man doth good to his own soul.
I have to know that there's good and bad in me. I can't just be so consumed with what I'm not good at. I can't be so consumed with what I lack.
Yeah.
I have to learn balance. I have to learn for everything, especially if I'm dealing with depression, self-hatred, self-loathing. For everything I tell myself I'm not good at, I need to tell myself what I'm good at also. Now listen, for the person who's not dealing with depression and sadness, then I need to be harder on myself. Because a lot of us who are type B in personality will take this verse and justify being lazy and not work on themselves. I'm talking about the person who sits back here and can constantly think about how I'm no good. For the person who's constantly meditating on how they're not good, I have to have mercy on myself. For the person who don't think there's no problems in himself, be hard on yourself. Okay? We have to take these scriptures and apply them depending on what's going on inside of yourself.
Balance.
But if I'm always in the self-condemnating mode, if I'm always in this beating myself, self-hatred, then I got to give myself a break and be merciful in my own spirit. And I got to highlight how I am trying, how I am doing good, how I am fighting, so I can keep fighting. I can't be so negative that I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay? So once again, there's balance in both of us. Have the ability to be balanced. Fight to be balanced. Okay? Let that verse go. Give me Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha 30 and verse 23.
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, chapter 30 and verse 20.
Ecclesiastes chapter 30, verse 20.
Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha 30 and verse 23.
Oh.
Verse 23, sorry. Ecclesiastes 30 and verse 23.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 23. Love thine own soul.
You have to learn how to love yourself, man. Not in a proud way. This verse is for those of us who self-condemn, who self-hate. I have to learn how to sit back and see the good in what I do. See the good in my efforts. I can't beat myself up all the time. Love thine own soul. Read on.
And comfort thy heart.
And comfort your heart, because a lot of us tear ourselves down, break ourselves down, focus on what we're not good at. And if something is brought to me, if a flaw is exposed to me, some of us keep embellishing and focusing and harping on what I'm not good at. Once again, for those of us who don't deal with this issue, great, I'm happy for you. But a lot of us do. A lot of us can't get past what we're not good at. Can't get past what we're deficient in. And if you're focused and you harp on what you're not good at, you have to find a way. First of all, you got to talk about it. You have to allow people to tell you good about yourself. You have to allow people to help pick you up also. And if I don't have it in me to see the good in me, I have to let people tell me what's good in me, and I got to hold on to that. Scripture says, hold fast to that which is good. Hold fast to that which is true. I have to allow people, or I have to be around people who lift me up, that see the good in me. But a lot of times, misery loves what?
Company.
And that's what you have to break in yourself. I can't be around a bunch of negative people if I am negative. I can't be around a bunch of hateful people or negative outlook people if I'm negative. I got to be around people who can pick me up and lift my spirits up if I don't want to lift my spirits up. There's times when you're feeling down, you don't want to think about the good. You want to sit back and feel low and be low. But you gotta break that. You got to break that party that wants to stay low. Learn to love your own soul. Comfort your mind. You have to sit back and find scriptures and sit back here and remind you it's okay. You're going to get through this. It's not the end of the world. Read on.
Remove sorrow far from thee.
You have to find a way to get that destructive, cold, dark part of yourself away. You got to get away from it. The scripture says in Ecclesiastes 21:2 is to flee from sin like it's a serpent. You have to learn to flee from that negativity like a serpent too. Like it's a serpent. Flee from that sadness, that sorrow, that self-hate. And this comes from trial and error, communication, talking. What are good spiritual antidotes to sit back and keep your positivity up? A lot of times, in order to stay positive, I got to see the small changes in myself. A lot of us, we're so caught up in the results and the end result that we can't see the small steps that we've accomplished and the small good we've done in a 5 and 6 month span. When you're evaluating how good you are or where you're at spiritually or in your life, can I sit back here and look 6 months back and say, what have I done better in this last 6 months? A lot of us don't look at things like that. We take these extreme minds. Man, it's been 5 years. I ain't seen no change. Damn, can you see the little small incremental changes? I might flip out a little bit, but I ain't flipped out. I used to flip out every week. Now I flip out every 2 or 3 weeks. That is an accomplishment. When I'm counseling brothers and sisters, when I see people not wig out as often as they do, that's growth. Can I see the fact that my highs and lows aren't as extreme as they used to be? My outlook isn't as bad as it used to be. That is growth. A lot of times the end result isn't how you maintain sanity. It's the fact that I've made small steps is what I need to hold on to. And that's how I'm learning how to love my own spirit. That's how I learn how not to have sorrow in my circumstance. Can I see the small incremental changes? Because a lot of times if I don't see significant changes, I'm wicked, I'm evil, I'm no good. Why am I doing this shit? Then we go nosedive left. We have to train ourselves to see the small steps, the small improvements. That's so important. Okay, read on.
Talk about sorrow.
It says, for sorrow hath what?
Yeah, it says.
Read that.
For sorrow hath killed many.
Sorrow hath killed many.
Yep.
Self-loathing, sorrow, sadness, seeing the worst in myself. That has killed a lot of people. It has destroyed people. People that can't see the little good that they've done, the little changes that they've done. You have to be able to see the small changes to get to the large changes. But a lot of us aren't wired. If we don't see instant success, we want to quit and give up. And then nosedive left.
And that's in our approach. It shows our approach to change is unrealistic.
It is. It is. And this is why having a counselor is so important. That dynamic between student and teacher is essential. Because if I have these extreme thoughts, I need people around me to help remind me that I'm doing good. Not to fall off the ledge. You've made adjustments. You've made positive, substantial adjustments in your life. So there's no reason to beat yourself up so much. So sorrow hath killed many. Read on.
It says, and there is no profit therein.
There's no profit in holding on to negative.
You're not going to get any better
Yep.
by attacking yourself, by
Yes.
being a self-attacker. Listen,
Exactly.
listen, you're already down.
I know.
So what is the benefit of going into a deeper depression?
I know. And this
You're
is why,
already there.
And that's why you have to lean on people who can help pull you out to remind you that there is good in you. To remind that you have been accomplishing things. Yes, sir.
In the same chapter, verse 21.
Okay.
It says, Ecclesiastes chapter 30, verse 21. Give not over thy mind to heaviness.
Exactly. You can't give your mind so deep into what's not going right in your life.
Yeah.
You know what the crazy thing is? Instead of focusing on the heaviness, focus on the solution out of the heaviness.
There you go.
You see how it's all about how you look at it? But most of us want to focus on the pain, the sorrow, the sadness, the difficulties of being in the condition that you're in versus focusing on the solution, focusing on the how to. How do I get out of it? What is the technique to get me out of this situation versus focusing on the fact that I'm in it?
It nourishes desperation. When you focus on your situation that's already
Or what I
there,
don't have?
what I don't have, it nourishes despair.
Yes.
It keeps feeding. You're feeding what you're feeling right now is what you fed. You fed that evil spirit.
Mm-hmm.
We entertained it. We played with it. We started adding to it. We started building onto it.
Yep.
And then every situation. That's why I ain't shit.
Exactly.
We start stacking. We start stacking the case.
Exactly.
We
stack a case about how you ain't shit.
Yeah, it's like your mind.
This is number 15 as to why I ain't shit.
Boom. It's like your mind works like a courtroom. It works
This
like a courtroom.
is number 20. This is proof positive that I ain't shit.
Guarantee that.
This is a fact. This
ain't
makes it
hard.
a proof.
You can tell.
Exactly. Old Biggie lyrics and stuff like that.
Biggest lyrics, but matter right. They matter right. Listen. The point is, we stack a case, and then we're so focused on building that case, that negative case, we forget how much we've accomplished in the small. I ain't gonna lie, your victories are gonna be less than your mistakes.
Yes. And I have
That's
to
real.
I have to accept that, and I have to hold on to the victories more than the multiple failures.
Come on.
Yes, I.
I was just trying to finish that one last scripture.
Okay.
Please do.
It says, give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own
I'm
counsel.
glad you pulled that verse because it's the truth. He says you can't afflict yourself in your own counsel.
Wow.
And that's what we do all the time. If I make a mistake, our own mind gets us to spiral out of control. It gets us to spiral into this darkness. And it's really hard to get out of that darkness.
No.
What's that?
And then it's like, what should you do then?
Mhm.
James 5:16.
Where are we going? Because I don't want to take it too far out of
Nah,
here.
it's right. I was just-
Okay, just go for it, sir.
James chapter 5, verse 16. Confess your faults one to another, and pray one for another, that ye may be healed.
Confession is one of the major things. I have to be able to communicate about what the issue is. It's confession. But confession, when you hear the word confession, you think that it's just one time. Confession is consistent.
Prolonged.
Well,
Confession is daily. Confession is not, oh man, I have a problem.
The thought came back.
But the problem is going to always be there. Scripture says, resist the devil and he shall flee from you, right? But guess what? He coming right back in an hour. Well, that idea of resisting the devil, you're reading, the devil has come, alas.
Rebuke.
Alas, he has left. No more devil.
Victory.
No, that devil's coming back. Sometimes when you got real issues in 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Then what are you going to do? You better start confessing again. You better keep confessing every time that little son of a gun comes back. If them thoughts come back, confess. Them emotions come back, confess. Until you get a hold of it. That is the process. It is how often can you communicate about this issue that continues to plague you. You going to say more, y'all? You have more verses?
yeah, it says, the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. A synonym for fervent is consistent.
Mm-hmm. It's the consistent prayers, consistent communication, consistently bringing out this darkness into the light.
That's it.
You have to consistently bring the darkness to the light. I can't sit back here and think self-working on it is enough. I got to talk about the flaws whenever they arise. If I ever want to gain control of these flaws, of this negative, toxic mindset that eats at me from the core. Okay, we're going to let that go and jump back to Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha 14 and 5. Ecclesiasticus 14 and 5.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 14.
We're going to go through the entire chapter in Ecclesiasticus. So I don't think we would make the time, but at least Ecclesiasticus 14 and 5.
Gotcha. Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good?
And it's the point. A lot of times, if I have self-hatred, if I have self-esteem issues, if I self-loathe, a lot of times, what do I tell myself? I tell myself if I have a wife, I'll feel better. If I have a mate, if I have a husband, I'll feel better. A lot of times in our sadness and our unhappiness, we think marriage is a solution. We think of having somebody to love. Or listen, I've seen people who are depressed think children is the answer.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. Children, marriage,
More joy,
a wife,
babies.
a husband. That's gonna make me happy. Listen, if I can't find happiness in what I do for the Most High in my life, then who are you gonna love? You can't love anybody if you can't learn to love yourself. I have to learn how to love myself before I can love another human being, a mate, a husband, a wife. But we tell ourselves that if I have this wife, everything's okay. She's gonna complete me.
So that's why you say the
He's going to complete me. He's the extra part of the heart,
the magic
combined,
lover.
and now we have a whole heart. Because without this other heart, my heart's broken. Now together they're joined, and now I'm whole.
No.
That is fairy tale stuff. What's that? It still broke it. Listen, they both broke it. They broke it because it's the truth. Read verse 5 again.
Verse 5. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good?
You're not going to be good for anybody else if I can't be good for myself. If I can't see the good in myself, all I'm going to do is project to the next person. So now, instead of hating myself, I'm going to spew that self-hatred to my husband.
It's you.
I'm going to spew that self-hatred to my wife.
It's you.
I'm going to hate them versus hating me. Because that's what ends up happening. If I don't learn how to find peace and love and harmony in what I do for the Most High, if I can't see the good in me, I can't see the good in my mate. I can't see the good in my child. I can't see the good in anything. As a man thinketh, so is he. Oh. Matter of fact, hold that verse and go to Titus 1 and 15. Titus 1:15.
Titus 1:15.
We're going to go back to Ecclesiastes.
Okay.
Yeah, Titus 1:15. It is to Titus 1:15.
Titus 1 and 15.
Titus 1:15. Let's do that.
Unto the pure, all things are pure.
If I learn how to be pure in my own eyes to what I do for the Most High, if I can learn how to find happiness in my own life towards the Most High, then I can sit back here and be happy, productive, loving to the next person. But read on.
But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure.
If my outlook is defiled in myself, how am I going to be? I'm going to have a defiled outlook towards my mate, to my child, to anybody around me. If I'm toxic inside, I'm going to be toxic to people around me in my periphery. This is what the Most High is showing me. I have to work on myself. I have to learn how to not beat myself up and constantly. Like Yahweh said, I have to learn to, what was that verse? It was 30 and 21. It says, and afflict not thyself in my own counsel. If I learn how to not afflict myself in my own counsel, I won't afflict other people when their counsel. I have to control how I process things before I start venturing into marriage. There's been a lot of people that have married because of the emptiness of their own spirit, and those marriages don't work out. I have to learn to work what's inside of me and find happiness in my desire to please the Heavenly Father. Then I'll be ready to sit back here and do good in my marriage.
Can I pull the scripture right here?
Yes, sir.
Ecclesiasticus 21 and 14, and then Proverbs 19 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Ecclesiasticus 1 and 14, and Proverbs 19 and 8. You gotta hurry up because we gotta get this class.
Already had Max on that earlier.
I gotta pull it again. I'm pulling it one more time.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 1.
19 and 8.
Let's go.
You said
Ecclesiasticus
1 to 14.
21 and 14.
Somebody else good. Let's go. Let's get it up. What would you say? Ecclesiasticus chapter 21 verse 14.
God.
It says, the inner parts of a fool are like a broken vessel.
So it's showing how a person that's foolish has broken elements inside them. And those broken elements do what? Read on.
And he will hold no knowledge as long as he liveth.
So those broken elements, like you get a broken pot and you put water in the pot and the hose have the water come out, you keep filling with more and more water and the hose keep draining water out of it. That's the mind of a fool. There's counsel going here, there's scriptures going here, but it's going on one ear and out the other. I'm not practicing the ability to hold on to the counsels. I'm receiving counsel, but how well am I holding on to counsel? I'm receiving encouragement, but how well am I holding on to encouragement? What separates the fool from the wise is who holds on to the lessons. Now go to verse 19 and 8.
Proverbs 19 and 8.
Uh-huh.
He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul.
So if I'm getting wisdom, I mean I have the ability to hold on to what I'm being shown. That's how you show yourself love. You're showing yourself love by holding on to what you've been given. Because the first part was I'm refusing instruction. The refusal of instruction is why I'm in my position. But now, how do you circumvent that? I have to hold on to instruction so I'm not that vessel that keeps releasing the water, which is the solutions in the counsel. Read on.
He that keepeth understanding shall find good.
So if I really want to find good, how much do I hold on to what I'm being told? How much do I hold on to my counsels? How much do I hold on to class and solutions?
Yep.
How well am I performing in the holding on of that wisdom? That's how you circumvent the darkness. The fact I'm in a dark place is evidence I didn't hold on to what I was shown. That's all it is.
Okay.
I'm here because I didn't hold on to what I was shown. I've gained this much weight because I didn't hold on to this diet.
Yep.
I'm not performing well at my job because I didn't hold on to the examples I was given of the best performers.
Okay.
I'm not where I want to be in the truth because I didn't hold on to all the corrections that I was given. So if I don't like my situation, how well am I holding on to do my soul good?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Okay. So, did we finish Titus 1 and 15?
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump back now to Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 14 and verse 6.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 6. It says, there is none worse than he that envieth himself.
He says, there is none worse than he that envies himself. We're going to find out that definition of envy. To envy means to, it says, pain, uneasiness, mortification, or discontent. So it says it's nothing worse than a person that's not content in themselves.
Wow.
To be discontent. There's nothing worse to be discontent in yourself. But that is an issue that a lot of our people deal with. Because it's damn near impossible to do anything if you're not content with what's inside of you and who you are as a person. There's so many of us deal with identity crisis. They're not happy with who they are. They're not happy with who they are in their own skin. They hate themselves to the core. It's hard. He said there's nothing worse than a person that envies himself, that is just not content with who they are. Their look, their personality, their person, that they're just themselves. That is an issue. If you can't get to be content with who you are as a person, it's hard to move forward. It's hard to grow spiritually. When I'm just not happy with myself. You can have all the knowledge in the world, all the Bible verses, all the scriptures, all the counsel, but if I just can't be content with who I am, that's a hard pill to swallow. Read that verse again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 14, verse 6. There is none worse than he that envieth himself.
That's a real thing, man. There is none worse. It's showing you how serious it is when a person is full of discontent in themselves as a person.
That miser. It's never enough. I'm not enough.
I'm not enough. Exactly. Because that niggard is that person who their whole mindset, I'm never enough. What my surroundings is never enough. I'm not good enough.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Nothing around me is good enough.
Come on.
So if nothing around me is good enough, if I'm not good enough, then why live? Then why breathe? Why function? This is a dangerous mind. That's why I said there's nothing worse. Because that person is danger. They're a danger to themselves.
I'm in the danger zone, huh?
You're in a dangerous place if I'm not good enough and nothing around me is good enough. And that person needs extra attention to rehabilitate them. Because you're a danger to yourself. That's why the Most High said that it's talking about the body and the parts of the body that are the
uncomely.
The uncomely parts need the most attention. Can you give me that? I think it's 1 Corinthians 12.
People.
Let's bestow more honor to the people members.
1 Corinthians 12 and 23. And those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant
Well, let
honor.
somebody get that.
Okay.
1 Corinthians 12 and 23.
So the individuals in verse 6, where it says there is none worse than he that envieth himself. Those are the uncomely parts of the body.
22,
The parts of the body that don't look beautiful. Well, those are the ones who need the attention the most. 1 Corinthians 12 and what?
23.
You know 22 goes into it.
Let's do 22.
Verse 22. Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary.
The parts of the body that have that self-destructive mindset need the most attention. Read on.
And those members of the body which think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor.
We're supposed to bestow more abundant honor to the individuals who have that self-loathing, who have that self-hatred, who don't think they're good enough, who are just not content in themselves. They need the most attention. The strong must bear the infirmities of the weak. We have to bear their infirmities for their sake. We have to commit ourselves to what they need, not send them off, get them out of our sight. They need the more attention. Getting them out of our sight, keeping them away isn't healthy to them. If I have a person with mental illness issues, suicidal issues, putting drugs in them and sending them off to psych wards is not the answer. A lot of times, the person who has the most issues, you want to kind of get them away because it's easier. That's not how you're supposed to deal with the sick. You have to bring the sick closer to you. Read on.
And our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness.
but their uncomely parts are more comely because you have to make them comely. You have to make giving them attention appealing. You have to give your mind to what they need. It's necessary. Read on.
Verse 24. For our comely parts have no need, but the Most High hath tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to that part which lacks.
He's tempered us together, so I can't move forward unless they're taken care of. I can't move forward in my pursuits until the weaker vessel is given the most attention to strengthen them.
You don't hate that situation.
Exactly. But this is how the Most High keeps all of us humble. The individual who thinks they can do it all, who has all the confidence in the world, you're nothing without the uncomeliest part of your body to be sustained. The person who's got the answers has to be committed to giving the weak person what they need. So you know what that does? That slows me down. That cuts into my personal time. That means that I can't be about me. I got to make sure that my focus is on the individuals who need the most attention. And the ones with the most issues get the most attention. Both sides get what they need. Because even the person who has their stuff together, they're nothing without the person who needs them. Most High keeps everybody's checks and balances put together.
Oh.
Even though I might think that living my life is the right way, if I got my stuff together, I'm nothing if the person around me isn't fed and sustained.
Jelly, which is if the spirit in my home is not on point, I gotta put more spirit home.
Into the parts that don't look comely.
Or if the men around me are sick, the men around me or a particular man around me is sick, I have to reassess.
And make it and readjust my schedule so the weaker spirit is given what it needs. That's our duty. That's how we're tempered together. Let's continue. Matter of fact, I think read on.
1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 25. That there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another.
Exactly. Read on.
And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it.
Yeah.
Or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it.
This is how the body of Christ stays connected and strong. And we're going to let this go and jump back to Ecclesiasticus 14. Give me verse 6 again.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 6. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly.
So he says the person that's full of discontent and unhappiness does good, he does it unwillingly. What this means is this. If I've never seen success, or if I have issues seeing success in following counsel, I'm going to do counsel. I'm going to follow counsel and do good things unwillingly. I'm going to do it half-hearted. You ever seen somebody who has issues with outlook and seeing the good in things, try to do good works? They do it very unwillingly, hesitant, not with fear, with full confidence. Then they'll sit back and say, see, it didn't work.
Yeah.
You ever seen people follow counsel with a half-assed spirit? And say, see, I tried it. The Most High didn't come through. I knew it. That's that. If he's showing you the person with a negative outlook will do good unwillingly. Why? Hold this, and go to Romans 14 and 23.
14.
That's tonight. It's tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Romans 14, 23, and James 1, verse 6 through 8.
Romans 14 and 23. And he that doubteth is damned if he eat.
Listen, if you doubt, if you don't think the counsel is going to work, if you can't, listen, if you doubt, you damned if you eat, if you partake. So what it's saying is, if my outlook is impure, if I'm doing this work, the good for the Most High with a negative outlook, I'm not going to see the result that I'm looking for. I have to see the good. I have to trust that if I do things the right way, the Most High will bless me. If I'm doubting, it's not going to work out. If my outlook is negative, or if I'm double-minded, which is the next verse we're going to go to, if I'm double-minded, the Most High is not going to honor the work I'm doing. That's what he's saying in verse 23. No. In Ecclesiastes 14:7. If he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. It's unwillingly because part of me wants to do it, part of me believes it, part of me doesn't believe it. I've seen a lot of people follow counsel half-heartedly and expect the Most High to come through for the blessing. If I don't wholeheartedly believe it's going to work out, it ain't going to work out. And this is part of that mental sickness that we have. If I don't sit back here and do things the right way and trust that by doing the right way it's going to work out wholeheartedly, it's not going to work out. That's why it says you have to have a little faith, like the faith of mustard seed. I don't have to have a whole lot of faith. I have to have enough faith to get me through. But I can't be double-minded in my works. Hold this and give me James 1:68. 1:6, I'm sorry. James 1, verse 6 through 8. We're going to go back to that verse in Romans, sir. Read that. James 1, verse 6 through 8.
James chapter 1 and verse 6. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering.
Mm-hmm. Once again, if I'm asking, if I'm approaching the Most High, if I'm doing something for the Most High, I have to ask in faith. I can't be wavering in my mindset. I can't be double-minded in my mindset when I'm trying to do something for the Most High while expecting a blessing. Read on.
For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed.
Yes.
For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord.
You're not going to get blessed. That negative mindset, that apathetic mindset, that mindset that's suited or built towards having that discontented mind, you're not going to get what you want if I'm double-minded. If my mind is not all the way convinced that he's going to come through. A lot of times sometimes I see people that aren't convinced it's going to work out. If you don't go into this battle with that pure optimism, you're not going to see the result come through.
But what about that person that just came in and they seen that things is looking good for his homeboy, his homegirl?
That person has a pure outlook.
And they come in, but they skeptical, but then they come in and then it don't happen for them.
This is this person. You got to come in believing. But listen, the person that's trying, that's new, is going to see some results. Is going to see some positive. This is for the person who can't see the good in it and has been in here long enough. There's a lot of us that have been here for 5 and 10, 15 years and can't see the good in nothing. Can't see the good, and we keep this cycle of failure and inconsistency, and we can't get ourselves out of a rut. I've seen a lot of times when brothers first come in, they get blessed because they showed up. And then after you showed up, then he's going to start expecting you to start making adjustments.
Come.
And that's when it gets hard. All of us see the glory of the Most High when you first come in. Yahushua is awesome. The power of the Most High. And then all of a sudden it gets hard again.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden he stretches out those blessings.
He showed you it's real. I'm gonna give you a blessing. I'm gonna split split the Red Sea. Give you. I'm gonna deal with lice. I'm gonna drop boulders. I'm gonna sit here and have locusts come through out of the sky to show you I'm real.
And then after that,
you in the desert, man.
It's the truth. And listen. That is real facts. He shows you miracles. He gives you testimonies. He gives you that sign and that testimony that the Most High is real. Then that battle starts. And then you got to start trusting the Most High and learning how to follow him. But if I don't follow him with pureness of heart, I'm not going to receive the blessing. This is why, when you read back in Ecclesiastes 14, how it says that there is none worse than a person that envies himself. Because if I can't see the good in myself, if I'm not content in me, how can everything I do is going to fail. If I can't see the good in what I do, everything I put my hand to is not going to work out because I'm skeptical. I don't think it's going to work out. I don't see the sense in this. It ain't going to work out for me. I've heard brothers say, the wisdom works for this person, but not for me. I've seen and heard people say that. Yeah, that counsel works for him, but it won't work for me. What kind of craziness is that? But that is a fact that people deal with.
Oh, the only counsel only worked because the brother came to the city.
It's the truth. That is real facts.
The counsel,
True story.
The counsel worked because the brother came in the city.
Yeah. Or the brother came to the zone or the location. He just came to the location and worked. But it really didn't work. If he's not around, it ain't going to work. People feel that. They going to believe that. If this brother's here, it's going to work out. If he ain't, it ain't going to work out. But this is why the Most High said, listen, it's nothing worse than this person that envies himself, that can't see the good in himself, can't see the good in what he does, can't see the purity of the Most High in his work. To be more specific, it's nothing worse than a person that doesn't believe the Most High can work through them.
It's a real one.
It is nothing worse than the person that doesn't believe the Most High can work through them and do good works. If you can't believe that, Most High can't do anything to show you he's real. If you can't trust that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek after him. If I can't see the Most High can work through me and do good, and this is that person who envies himself, who just is never contented, can never see good in what he does. That level of negative, you really can't work with them until you get them to trust that the Most High can work through them in that arena.
Can I say this?
This is real issues that we deal with, man. This is not some made up stuff. It really ain't.
I was like this, and the reason why it's such an important reason to understand this, because as time progresses, you will be a counselor, you will be a teacher, you will be a person that somebody looks up to, and they'll ask you questions, and they'll ask for help.
And you'll deal with people that are brick walls. How do I get this person to see this? How do I get this person out of their head? How do I get this person out of this self-loathing, I'm not shit mindset?
You have to overcome yourself first before you can heal another spirit. Because listen. If you have no mercy in yourself, and then you're counseling somebody, a weaker spirit, you may not have mercy in that weaker spirit, because you never learn how to do it for yourself. So you overcoming yourself teaches you balance. Okay, they need this much. That's enough. Now let's see what they can do with the little bit of correction they got from that point. Don't completely destroy this person. Give them just enough and give them a solution.
Yeah.
Give them something to fight for.
Yeah. So, finish James 1.
Come. James chapter 1 and verse 7 reads, "For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways."
A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And don't think that double-minded spirit is going to produce any results, any positive results. If I don't think the Most High is going to work through me, if I can't see the good in the work of my hands, don't expect to see any good results in your life. And if you don't see good results, you're going to start getting toxic, you're going to start losing hope, you're going to get self-destructive. And then you're going to start playing with suicidal thoughts and dark thoughts and negative thoughts, and you're going to start making mistakes. But what does it start off with? If I can't see the good in what I do, if I can't heal myself, I can't self-love, I can't even move forward. If I can't see that there's good in me for the Most High to work through, then how can I even get to it where I can see the Most High do good through my hands? That is important. You got to see that the Most High can work through you to do good. Okay, now go to Romans 14 and 23.
Romans 14 and 23. And he that doubteth is damned if he eat.
If I doubt the good in me, if I doubt that there's even good in me, like I said, I'm trying to deal with people that are rock bottom right now. This is rock bottom. When you're rock bottom, you don't see any good in yourself. When you're rock bottom, you don't see the good in yourself or anybody around you. But he that doubteth is damned if he eats. I'm not going to listen. If I can't see the good in myself, it doesn't matter what work I do. I'm not going to see any fruit of it. Exactly. Anything I partake in, if I doubt and I don't see the good in it, I won't get the results I'm looking for. If I don't sit back here and fight to see the good in myself. Read on.
Because he eateth not of faith. For whatsoever is not of faith is sin.
So once again, if it's not positive, then it's negative and it's sin. And Most High is not going to reward me for the holding on to negative. So let that go and go back to Ecclesiastes 14.
Verse 7 now.
No, it's verse, verse,
4, 8, 7.
yeah,
Which one you got?
verse 8.
Ecclesiastes chapter 14, verse 8. The envious man hath a wicked eye.
That person
Wow.
that just
Yeah.
is not content with himself.
Come,
They have that negative eye.
come.
And that person with that negative eye, you can't do nothing with them. They're never going to see the good in the Most High until you work on how they look at things.
Yeah.
As a man thinketh, so is he. It starts off with outlook. So what it's showing you is, we initially talked about how the person has to learn how to follow instruction. But I can't even deal with the following instruction aspect until I start teaching a person how to sit back and see the good in things. It's almost like outlook has to be taught, then instruction has to be taught.
Come.
Then we sit back here and tap into a positive outlook, purity of. I got to break the thoughts first. I got to get a person to see the good in whatever they do. Most people that come into these doors can't see the good in nothing. And if I can't see the good in nothing, I can't even begin to teach them the Most High. It's hard to teach them the benefits of sacrifice and dedication if I can't see the good in things. See, this Ecclesiastes 14 goes through all the dynamics about how a person is self-destructive. Yes,
Can I post this right here?
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes 31:13. Remember that a wicked eye is an evil thing, and what is created more wicked than the eye? Therefore it weepeth upon every occasion.
Right.
Every situation I'm in is a reason for me to weep internally.
Yeah.
Because I trust in how I see things. I don't look at things from the lens of the scriptures.
Yep.
I don't look at things from the lens of my teachers. I don't look at things from the lens of my parents that are in righteousness.
Yeah.
I look at things from my own perspective.
Yeah.
So remember that a wicked eye or evil perspective is an evil thing. It's a broken, sorrowful, negative thing.
Yep.
And what's more wicked than an evil perspective? People love you. No, they don't. I love my life. No, your life's shit.
I've made good strides in my growth. No, you're not. You're still failing. You're still no good. You're still a screw up. You should be making mistakes for 10 years. I don't want to hear all that crap.
Or there's the, you know what, today's going to be a good day today. No, it's not.
Exactly. This is real. This is real emotions that negative in you attacks and comes at. And if I don't learn how to sit back and see the good in everything around me, if I don't learn how to be content in my situation, I can't even. The Most High said, into a malicious spirit, wisdom won't enter. So the spirit of wisdom won't even enter you unless you change your thinking and your mindset. That's so important. He can't even begin to clean you out until you start changing how you look at things. Are we done with that verse? Your verse? No, we are. You finished with it?
I'm done.
Go back to Ecclesiastes 14 and 8 and 9, and then we're going to jump to another verse. Okay. Somebody give me 1 Timothy 6. Have it ready.
Ecclesiastes chapter 14, verse 8. The envious man hath a wicked eye, and he turneth away his face, and despiseth men.
Listen, you first despise yourself and hate yourself, and you're not happy with yourself. And once you're not happy with yourself, it's easy to despise everybody around you. That wicked, negative, envious, and the spirit of envy is that person who is mad that other people are growing and you're not. Other people are succeeding, but you're not. I can sit back here and I can't see the good in anybody. If I can't see the good in myself, I'm not going to be able to see the good in anybody else. This is why it's so important to work on fixing and seeing the good in yourself first, so you can learn how to properly judge everybody else. Read on.
Verse 9. A covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion.
And this is how we talk about that niggard at the table.
Yeah.
Whether I'm a niggard or I keep saying nigger, I like that word. Niggard or covetous, it's the same thing. I'm not satisfied with my portion in life. I'm not content with what the Most High gave me. That is the root of this spirit of despair, this suicidal mindset, this depressive mindset. I'm just not content with the lot in life the Most High has given me. I wish it was better. I wish my life was better. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. Listen, those are real facts too. I wish everything in my life was a lot better, and I can have a laundry list of things I wish I was better at. And that sorrow and unhappiness and that discontentment ends up breaking you inside. Was you gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say, but the crazy thing, the flip to that is just until the things are pure, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least for that person, it's like this sucks, this sucks, the life sucks. The Most High woke you up today, though.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High have to wake you up.
Well,
man.
and that's the next point we're going to go into.
I'm sorry.
No, we're good. We're good. You're not spilling the beans. But these are all facts that's in a person's head. A covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion. This is where this is another element of that root of unhappiness, that depressive mindset. I'm just not happy with the Most High gave me in my life. I'm unhappy with the Most High. I have never learned how to see the good with what the Most High has given me. That's not good enough. Read on.
It says, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul.
That negative outlook dries up your spirit. Focusing and meditating on what I don't have destroys you from the inside. And this is why you have to hold on to 1 Timothy 6, verse 6 through 10 to help neutralize that part of you that wants to dry you up from the inside. That not being satisfied with what the Most High has given you. If I want to sit back here and neutralize discontentment, suicidal thoughts, self-hatred, self-loathing, then how must I look at things? Give me a chance to find that verse on my computer. And then read that 1 Timothy 6 and 6 on my computer. 6 verse 6 through 10.
1 Timothy chapter 6.
I need you to read with some spirit and quick. Read that.
1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain.
Godliness with contentment is great gain. We have to learn how to sit back and do the right thing and be content with what the Most High got us at, with what He's blessed us with what He's endowed us with. Can I be content with how He's put me together? Can I be content with what I have and just work with what the Most High has given me? There has to be a part of me that accepts what I am and who I am and how He's built me to be. If I don't, and that's the type of self-love that we're supposed to learn to have. The self-love is our contentment. Can I be content with who I am and what type of talents and abilities He's given me with? Or am I sitting back here always telling myself the grass is green on the other side? Why don't I have this person's ability? How come I don't have that person's ability? I can't get caught up into that. I have to be appreciative with what He's given me. If I can learn to do that, that is a great start. Godliness with contentment is great gain. But godliness with being unsatisfied and envy, that's not a good mix. I can do all the good in the world, but if I envy myself, if I'm not content with what the Most High gave me, I am asking for it. It is a road to perdition. So we're trying to give verbatim tactics and approaches to eliminating that part of you that wants to end your life, that part of you that wants to be self-destructive, that wants to hurt yourself. These are methods and approaches we can use to keep our spirit up, to keep our spirit positive, to keep our spirit growing and pushing forward. Read on.
For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out.
Which means we have no control. And can I accept I have no control over how the Most High made me and how He put me together? And once I can accept I have no control, I can tap into my power. And I can be at peace with how the Most High made me. Read on.
And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
He's also showing us that we have to learn how to be content with what we have. I have to learn how to be content with my situation, my circumstance, my situation. If I can learn to be content, I can be at peace, I can find happiness. Now my mind is clear enough to learn the Most High's instruction. I can't really purely learn how to be instructed unless I can be content and at peace with myself. He's showing you all the elements you need for the Most High's wisdom to flow through you. If I'm not content with myself, if I refuse instruction, I'm destroying my own soul. And if I'm destroying my own soul, I'm not able to truly see the power of the Most High and all He can do for me and how He can flow through me and affect multitudes of people. If we just fix what's inside of us and learn to see the good that the Most High has made us and given us.
Can I pull this point real quick? You know, and it's like a Roman idea. Okay. They call it Caesar or nothing.
You going Rome, man?
I gotta pull this point out. But
it's on the Bible, man.
It's biblical. It's biblical, right? Okay.
It's the damn devil.
Well, you know, I'm really showing it. They say they call it back in the day. They call it Caesar or nothing. Like what they call Caesar or nothing, or emperor or nothing. We call all or nothing, right? That's called nihilism. Nihilism is the belief that all values are baseless and that nothing can be known or communicated. It's often associated with extreme pessimism and radical skepticism, right? It's the rejection of all religious and moral principles and the belief that life is meaningless. When we get in this strong ideal, we start believing in the scriptures, we start believing in counseling, we start believing in praying, we start believing in trying, and then we go into our flesh even deeper. Because we get this idea that nothing works, nothing matters. So if I can't have what I want, then I'm gonna take myself out this world.
Be destructive.
That's called nihilism. It's another term for it.
So with all that being said, it's still about whatever, I guess, emotions or mindsets we feed ourselves to. It's still about being content and learning how to accept what the Most High has given you and to be godly with contentment. Can I learn to do things the right way and be content with my circumstances? Can I be content with who I am? Can I be content with my condition? It's not just, it's content in yourself, contentment in yourself and your condition. That's why it says food and raiment is all you need.
That's a strong thing to say.
Food and raiment is all you need. That means I have to be accepting of who I am and my condition. If I can learn to do that, I can maintain my strength. And that kind of goes along with Philippians 4:12, where it says you learn how to be abound in the base. I learn how to sit back when things are going good. I can stay strong. When things are going bad, I'm not riding too high or too low. I can stay consistent. Okay, it's getting late. We're gonna go maybe one or two more verses and shut it down.
Yeah, I had a pretty good
Yes.
Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Whether a man be rich or poor, if he have a good heart toward the
I'm
Lord,
good with that verse.
he shall at all times rejoice with a
Exactly.
cheerful countenance.
But to have a good heart with the Lord, I have to accept how the Most High has made me. I have to be at peace with who I am with the Most High. I have to be at peace with my circumstances around me. But most of us are unhappy because we're not happy with what the Most High has given me. I'm not happy with my looks. I'm not happy with how I was put together, my physical condition, how much money I have, my talents or lack of. And we're consuming what we don't have versus being appreciative for what we do have. And that's a very powerful concept and mindset to have.
We gotta nurture that.
We have to nurture it. Now we're gonna go to probably one more verse. It's getting late. I want to go back to Ecclesiastes 14. And matter of fact, we gotta go a little bit more. 14 and 10. I want to kind of get to more the positive angle. We're kind of banging on the negative. I want to at least finish up with some positive before we get everybody out here. Ecclesiastes 14 and 10.
Ecclesiastes chapter 14 verse 10. A wicked eye envieth his bread.
It still talks about that negative outlook, envies the bread that the Most High has given to sustain him. And that is one of the major issues that cause a person depression and unhappiness. I just can't see the good in the blessings the Most High has given me right in front of my face. I can't see the good. I'm not content with the bread he's given me. I'm not content with the husband he's given me. I'm not content with the wife he's given me. It's just not enough for me. And when I'm in that spirit, that's when that depression and unhappiness flares up. Read on.
And he is a niggard at the table.
Because it's never enough. That niggard word again. It's that niggard. It's that mindset that whatever I got is never enough. And that's why I'm a miser.
It's most like I gave you all this and it ain't good enough.
It ain't enough, man.
Yeah.
I'm a nigga out here. Anyway, let's keep going.
Verse 11. My son.
I should have just kept with the nigga, but the nigga had to come out. Let me stop. Verse 11.
That's us, huh? It's our people.
Not appreciative. That's what nigard means, to be not appreciative. Read on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 14, verse 11. My son, according to thy ability, do good to thyself.
As much as you can, learn how to do good to yourself. Learn how to sit back here and do good for you. Do things that are positive, that are upbeat, that aren't negative. We have to learn how to look at things positive. Learn how to look at things with a good light, with a good heart. A lot of it has to be a trained mindset for people who only see negative.
Stop setting myself
You have
up.
to learn how to see the good in things. Yes.
It's also good to learn how to see like the positive from somebody who has learned how to see the positive, like the good positive.
It's going to go into it, yeah. There's more to it. It's going to explain how to see the good. Because yes, if you can't see the good from within, you have to lean on people who can see good. This is why it's so important. I got to be around positive people to learn positive mechanics, positive approaches. If I have an issue with Outlook, you ain't going to fix Outlook on your own. You're just not. If you're going to fix Outlook, you got to be around some positive people, or you're not going to fix it. Well, that's what most weaknesses. Now keep going.
It says, my son, according to thy ability, do good to thyself, and give the Lord his due offering.
So I got to learn how to do good and give the Most High his offering, and then do good for myself. It's both. I have to learn how to sit back here and see the good in what I do and give the Most High his due benevolence. Read on.
Remember that death will not be long incoming.
So you don't have all this time, man. Death is waiting for us all. So we need to sit back here while we got the time to do as much good as possible and affect as many people in a positive way as I can humanly do. Read on.
And that the covenant of the grave is not shown unto thee.
You don't know when it's your time. Read on.
Verse 13. Do good unto thy friend before thou die.
Do good unto thy friend. So now it's about doing good to people around me that I associate myself with. Read on.
And according to thy ability, stretch out thy hand and give to him.
So stop making it about you.
Yep.
Because that negative mind wants to sit back and focus on what you're not getting. That niggardly mindset.
Oh, it's not enough.
Because that niggardly mindset is about keeping everything and taking and keeping it, bringing it to yourself.
More.
Because whatever I got is not enough. So it's more. It's all about taking. But in order to break that selfishness, you got to give, consider. Because that part of us that wants to be selfish wants to stay to ourselves. Have you ever been really negative in the mindset and you don't want to be around nobody? If I want to break that depressing, negative mindset, I got to be around people and give. Sometimes you got to give yourself out of your stupor.
I have a slump.
Give yourself out of a slump. When I don't feel like spending time with nobody, spend time. When I don't feel like talking, talk. When I want to be in my room with the lights off, get the hell out of the damn room and socialize. That's how you break yourself. That's how you break that selfish tendency in you. Read on.
Verse 14. Defraud not thyself of the good day.
And this is why it's important not to defraud yourself a good day. Nothing wrong with going out and doing something nice for yourself. After you put the Most High first, don't sit back here and not do good things for yourself. You deserve rewards as well. This is a part of understanding that you're supposed to make yourself feel good and live and do good things for yourself. Because a lot of times when you're in that negative mindset, you don't want to do nothing for nobody, yourself, no one. Do good for yourself. Read on.
And let not the part of a good desire overpass thee.
Exactly. If it's about doing something good, don't neglect it. Do good for yourself. Go out, enjoy yourself a little bit. Read on.
Shalt thou not leave thy travails unto another?
This is what the verse I kind of want to talk about a little bit. Read verse 15 again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 14, verse 15. Mm-hmm. Shalt thou not leave thy travails unto another?
Sometimes we're so focused on what battle we're going through, we can't enjoy the good in front of us. Sometimes we're so heavy-hearted, and we're always got some negative and sadness beating us down the head. We can't just see we just can't get up and smell the roses. It's not as important to enjoy what's in front of you and not be so consumed with your travails. Read on.
And thy labors to be divided by lot.
He said, and can we not learn how to divide our labors by lot? Labor is every day. Stress and work is every damn day. Do I got to be completely consumed with labor 24/7, 365? Or can I learn to, when it's time to work, work? That's how you divide it in lots. When it's time to work, work. When it's time not to work, don't work. Reward yourself. Relax. We have such this work, this grind mindset every damn day. We lose it. We can't find peace in mind ever. And we consume ourselves with travail and stress and stress and stress and work. We never can see the good in things. He said we have to be able to sit back and divide it by lots. Compartmentalize. This is time for work. It's time to give myself a little time, back to work. Give myself a little break, back to work. I have to be able to do that to maintain my sanity and my purity of outlook. But what a lot of times we mush and mesh stress and travail all in your day. So you're just this tense ball of frustration all the time.
And Popeyes for selling now.
You're stressed. Okay?
You walk around tripping all day. You see how you walk like?
Angry
He's always
face.
ready to throw hands up.
When I was younger, I was me personally, I was always serious and stressed out, and it was work times 10. Then I had to realize, dude, this is never going away. This is work forever, bro. I remember I was like in my 20s, and I was stressing, like the sky was falling, bro. Everything was like, it was work and stress everywhere. But I went to HEB to pay bills, and I was like turned up. I was turned up, and I went and did my some blood pressure test. And my blood pressure was like, hey man, you're not doing good. You're like in some pre-bad shit happening to you. I don't know what they call it, pre-whatever the hell. I was like, dude, I gotta chill out, dude. It was pre-hypertension. I was like, dude, I gotta like, you know. I said, this shit I'm doing right now, this shit right here, son, this is every day. This stress shit is every day. I gotta counsel every day. I gotta deal with these totals every day. So I have to learn to not stress out and spread this stress out a little bit, so I don't go crazy. Because if I make this about stress and work every day, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to break down. I have to prepare myself for the long run. And that was me breaking down this work, the travail of work in lots. This is my work time. I'm going to chill. This is my work time. I'm going to take this damn break. Because you know what? This is flipping forever. I got 20 more years of this shit. So I'm going to take this break. Because I got some more work tomorrow. And the next day, and the next damn day, and the next damn day. So instead of me going crazy, I'm going to time out. I'm not going to be a parent right now. I'm going to watch some TV. And after this TV show is over, then I'm going to be a parent again. And that's how it's just going to be. Forever. And ever and ever and ever and ever. Because if not, I'm going to lose it. Does that make sense? That's not me saying be irresponsible, y'all. A war said I don't got to be a parent. Yes! I'm not saying that. But you got to know when to sit back and maintain your sanity so you can go back and do the work again. This is how you break things down in lots. That's parcels, pieces, fragments. What was you had a statement, No. Somebody did? Oh, yes, not. Okay. Read on.
Verse 16. Give and take and sanctify thy soul.
This is balance. You give, you take, you dedicate, you do something for yourself. You make it about the Most High. You do something for yourself. You sanctify your soul. You do things the right way. Stay in order with the Most High. There's giving, there's taking, there's balance. A lot of times that mindset that is sick has no balance. It's all give or all take. No giving the Most High anything. There's a disruption in the balance of things. If we learn how to be balanced, our results will be balanced. Our actions and decisions will be balanced. Read on.
It says right here.
For there is no seeking
you got me, man.
of dainties. This is verse
That's
16.
the word. Okay, cool. I couldn't say it. I'm sorry. It says, for there is no seeking of dainties in the grave. Exactly.
So he's saying you're not going to be able to enjoy life when you're dead. So you have to do your work, put the Most High first, and still enjoy yourself a little bit. Balance out so you don't self-destruct. Read on.
All flesh waxeth old as a garment.
We all get old. Read on.
For the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt die the death.
Gone.
As of the green leaves on a thick tree, some fall and some grow. So is the generation of flesh and blood. One cometh to an end, and another is born. Every work rotteth and consumeth away, and the worker thereof shall go withal.
Read on.
Blessed is the man that doth meditate good things in wisdom, and that reasoneth of holy things by his understanding.
And this is, it still goes back to mental health. Blessed is the man that doth meditate good things in wisdom. Once I learn how to not self-hate, once I learn how to be content with what the Most High has given me, now I can start practicing meditating good things. I can start seeing the good things in the Most High. But this is about learn. Listen, you have to overcome many obstacles to get to this point of seeing the good in things. Seeing the good things in the Most High. See how the Most High works through you when you do things the right way. But you can start doing this once you eliminate that part of you that envies yourself. That part of you that's not content in yourself. That's got to get broken first. Then you got to break that part of you that hates your soul by not following instruction. And once you fix those things in you, then you can start sitting back here and learning how to meditate on good things. You can learn how to see the good in everything around you. But I have to learn how to follow instructions, and I have to learn how to stop hating myself before I get to this point in verse 20. Read on.
Verse 21. He that considereth her ways in his heart shall also have understanding in her secret.
So if I keep meditating on good things in wisdom, and I'm considering her ways, which is wisdom, in your mind, shall also have understanding of her secrets. You'll get the greater wisdom once I get out of my own head. I can't get to this wisdom and the application of wisdom until I come out of my mindset and that self-depriving, that negative cycle of hatred in myself. I got to get past me to actually get the real wisdom. Read on.
Go after her as one that traces.
But if I'm really going to get the real wisdom, I have to come to wisdom as if I'm tracing. I have to learn to be a good follower. This is why it goes back to you're hating your soul when you can't follow instruction. If I want to gain the secrets of wisdom, I better be a good tracer. And a lot of us are shitty tracers. we have the markings inside. You get the damn the purple crayon, and your shit's all outside the lines. Like, dude, that wasn't a good job, right? Because we're bad tracers. We don't like to follow and do things verbatim. If I want to sit back and really grow and see results, I have to learn how to follow instruction verbatim. Not I sit back and watch you do it and then tweak it my way. You won't get the success that you're looking for, and you won't learn and discover the secrets you're trying to get if you don't learn how to follow properly, like one that traces. Read on.
It says, and lie in wait in her ways.
Mm-hmm.
It says, he that prieth in at her windows shall also hearken at her doors.
That means in order to get wisdom, I got to keep prying at her windows. I got to keep pursuing to understand how and why the Most High does things. There has to be a proactiveness in my pursuit to understand and get clarity. And if there's no proactiveness, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. Nagaha brought out last week about when you're digging a proper well, you got to go down 500 feet to get the water in the well that's going to prolong you for a long time. If I wanted to go 500 feet down so I can really get some understanding, the scripture says the process of getting counsel is like digging a deep well. Who shall draw it out? Who's going to go 500 feet down to get the answers you want? Who's going to be dedicated that much to get the clarity that you seek? That's what it takes to get the wisdom of the Most High. Read on.
Verse 24.
I know it's getting late, man. Read on. We're like a few verses out. Read on.
It says, he that doth lodge near her house shall also fasten a pin in her wall.
Once again, it's about being around wisdom, constantly pursuing wisdom. Read on.
He shall pitch his tent nigh unto her, and shall lodge in a lodging where good things are.
What it really boils down to, you can get close to wisdom once you get past what? Yourself. Mm-hmm. You can really get the power of this knowledge once you get out of your own head. Most of us can't get out of our own head. That's why we don't find success in serving the Most High. We can't get past our own self-loathing, our guilt, our pride, our selfishness, our self-hatred, our discontent in our lives. These are the things I hear with people that can't get over themselves and can't see the wisdom. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what the Most High has given me. I'm not happy with my conditions. I don't want to follow. I don't want to follow instructions. These are all those mental blocks that keep you from seeing why we do this every day. And those mental blocks is what keeps you in this miserable wall of unhappiness, this miserable cycle of confusion. And we're trying to go over the antidotes of how to get past yourself so you can see the power of the Most High. Because if you can get past yourself, you can find happiness in your life, in your existence, in what we do every day. Read on.
Verse 26. He shall set his children under her shelter.
So once you overcome yourself, now I can develop my children properly. Once I get past my self-esteem issues and my self-hatred, now this wisdom can be my children's shelter as well. Read on.
And shall lodge under her branches.
Mm-hmm.
By her he shall be covered from heat, and in her glory shall he dwell.
So once again, this chapter has kind of given us some understanding about mental illness, self-hatred, self-condemnation, being condemned by your own consciousness, and why we're condemned by our own consciousness. I hope we've gotten something from this class. There's many different angles that deal with the spirit of suicide and mental health and happiness, but I hope this was able to give a little bit of perspective on different ways we can get out of our own heads, our own sicknesses, our own condemnation, our own self-hatred. Are there any questions online or any questions amongst the class? It is getting late, but I think we're going to shut this down soon. But Tawada for tuning in. And once again, for everybody that's coming to the Passover in a few weeks, I'm glad to see y'all. And we will have class again on Wednesday with Sham Shawan. Hope to see y'all there. Tawada and Shalom.
Shalom.
One more time.